So episode 20, Badass Records. Kyle Davis in the house.
Nice.
Man, we were just talking about heat. You look like you were not sweating outdoors on a job site all day today.
It's crazy because it's like I worked outside.
Today?
Not today.
Okay. In a previous life?
Yeah, for 15 years for 12 hours straight. So when I'm going from air conditioning to outside and it's 70 to 100, it feels hot, but eventually I could just be outside all day if I needed to. Right. I don't prefer that. I'm getting pretty soft in my office days here, but
every day looks different for you, right? I mean, some days you're in the office and some days you're bouncing.
Yeah,
do you ever have to go to a spot and you're there for all day for multiple days, or?
I'm not really at a job site anymore, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I'm not put things in place on a job site anymore.
Right.
So that's perfect.
How many jobs do you guys have going simultaneously? Is it always different, or?
Yeah, it's like we've got all these different things that are just getting started or just getting designed or just getting started in construction or getting in pricing. We had somebody, we were ready to get a permit in a week, and they just we moved into this condo in Dallas. We're just going to live here and sell that house because we don't have a yard when we live in a condo. Turns out we don't really like to go outside. It's you have the biggest house and the biggest yard, bigger than I've ever lived in my life. And they're just they didn't even open their pool.
Wow.
They have an in-ground pool that they just didn't even open for the summer.
Is that a situation where they've come a certain number of steps along the way and you guys have been involved and they've given you money and then they're just never mind? So they essentially maybe wasted that money, or how does that work?
Yeah, we had it all designed. We redesigned their whole kitchen
and they paid you for the design.
Yeah.
And then decided
they're just different direction. Paying, a little bit for design and then not paying for all the construction is better than paying for construction and not really needing it. But to be honest, the house smells like mildew and is gross anyway. Wow. So it needs a lot of work.
So the number of jobs going at one time is always different.
Yeah. There's jobs where it's this might take 4 months, and other ones is this is gonna take 18 months.
But no matter what the number of jobs happening simultaneously is, you have a certain level of confidence that crew X is on job A, and I don't have to go and be you fucking didn't do that right, man.
Well, now I have Tom to do that.
Oh, you have a guy.
Yeah.
You have a guy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And he is great, and he's been doing pretty much the same. He's got kind of a similar path to me.
Okay.
But instead of all the construction stuff that I did, he did architecture stuff. More so,
carrying around rolls,
opening
them up on a table
at an architecture firm for 10 years, where I was on a construction site just sawing logs for 10 years, and then we both kind of went into project management, high-end luxury houses and stuff like that.
And how long have you known this guy?
Since a couple days before he started working for it. So a year and a half.
Okay.
And he lives 2 blocks away, 1 block away.
So
on Cherry, right down
there. So
there.
he's overseeing all the physical job performances and progresses. And
it's great because it's he knows the construction, but he also cares about the design.
Oh, cool.
And so it's we're not just trying to bang stuff together.
Right.
We're trying to look good and do good.
Now, before we get too deep, Cicada Co.
Yeah.
Design and build, is that the tagline?
Might have, I don't know what they've changed it to. They've changed it a lot. Yeah. Tara and the girls.
Oh, it says it right on your hat. It's design and build.
Design and build, yeah. So, I think the thing that people don't get is like a lot of people just call a contractor and they're like, I need to remodel my kitchen. I want some cabinets in here. And that's the amount of information that is relayed back and forth. It's like cabinets. Whereas we're going to be designing that kitchen for 6 months, and we're going to talk about like little quarter-inch differences and all these different things.
Thinking, I need new cabinets. You're saying we're looking at the whole space and thinking, how can we make this cooler and newer and whatever the descriptors
I mean, we're
are.
picking out, every single little thing. It's not like, okay, you need cabinets, like we'll demo the space and put the wires and plumbing where it needs to go. Talk to my cabinet guy and he'll design some cabinets for you.
Right.
It's like we're designing every single square inch of every single thing. And I think people don't even realize that's not what a general contractor does. But,
so, this is your business with your wife, Tara.
Yeah.
And if people want to find Cicada Co, what's the easiest? Is it the Instagram? Is it the website?
Mostly just like what we do is so good with pictures. So it's like Instagram is a great platform.
Sure.
So just...
what's the handle?
I think it's just Cicada
_co. Okay. And is there a different website in the link space?
You can either do cicadacompany.com or cicadaco.com.
And they both take you to the same
thing, yeah.
So you said, and how old is Cicada Co today?
I
3?
think it's like maybe 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
I remember sometime when there was a project where you're gonna go. You guys did go out to Colorado to look at this trailer park.
Yeah.
And Tara was talking about needing. I made a joke about her needing to clone herself or something like that, and she was like, "I need a person." So it sounds like you have Tom.
Yeah.
Does she have a Tom?
No. There ain't too many fucking people like Tara.
But I mean, is it a plausible reality that one day she could find somebody to do the things the way she wants them done, and then she can have a different, more broad focus? Or?
I mean, we've sort of like compartmentalized so many different things where it's like now we've got 5 other people that pretty much take care of the things that me and Tara all did, but it's just broken down into a simpler, more focused thing. So like, one person is doing the architectural design and one person is doing the interior design.
Okay.
So it's like the person who's drawing where the walls are going to go isn't also picking out like the tile.
And the people that are doing those things are direct employees of yours?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. We all just have one desk and it's great. And we just sit there and talk all day.
Right.
And me and Tara just stand behind them and look over their shoulder and just be like, this is... you gotta tweak this thing here.
A little more to the left.
Yeah. So
you guys have had that I'm aware of. You had a cool. Was it a holiday party where there were balloons and a food truck at the space? And then you've taken them out. I feel like you did something at a. I remember a picture of a long table where everybody was like eating.
Yeah, that was just like our Christmas party and for just our employees and stuff. But then at our office, it's just like, well, we never really like had a party to say, hey, everybody's working here now. This is cool.
Yeah.
And also we opened our office and all this stuff and we just never had anything. And it's just like, let's have a opening our office party.
Anytime somebody has a housewarming party for their home,
they've
been living there for a minute.
Yeah.
And so there's always sort of like a grace period to get in there and get settled and then celebrate and show.
Yeah.
But I ask because it seems like before starting this, I was watching like a handful of podcasts every week, but I was also spending an insane amount of time of watching reaction videos on YouTube, which I don't have the time to do anymore because I'm doing the back end of this. But there's a couple, and their name is Half and J, like Jai, and I think Jay's the girl and half is the guy. But anyway, they have this big long intro. I don't understand how some of these people get to like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of subscribers with like 3.5 to 4 minute intros every. I know you can just go past it, but it's like you also know that the people can go past. Why do you every time you anyway?
Yeah.
So they have this whole big thing where they're like, here's our name and here's what we do, and they wrap it up and they go, good vibes, baby, good vibes, or something like that. And I've just gathered that there seems to be sort of a good vibes around, in, I don't want to say cloud, but inside the office, and you seem to, your face kind of lit up a little bit when you're talking about Tom.
Yeah,
I don't know, it just seems like it's going.
It's just
well.
it's really nice because like we went from me and Tara not having anybody doing 100% of the stuff, and now it's like all the people we've hired, like we're never trying to get them to do their job. Like we're just all working together. They're doing what they do, like they want to be a designer, or they want to manage projects and build cool stuff. And so it's just like we're kind of getting to just like work with all these people. We're not like, you need to like do your job.
Right.
We've never had to tell somebody that.
I'm not somebody that is like, if I'm in places, it's like restaurants, or the hardware store, or the grocery. I'm not in a lot of businesses or offices, but if you don't have to look too hard on Instagram or anywhere else to come across a reel or a meme, where like there is so much, like if you did a pie chart of topics that you come across, so much of it is like jokes about like not working while you're at work, or tricks that you have to make your boss think that you're working. But it seems like
they're working, we're not even there,
but they enjoy coming there and doing it. And in 2022, it's like lightning in a bottle almost.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, when we had Winnie, like just over a year ago now, Tara took off for 3 months and I took off for a month. So there was a time where me and Tara weren't there for a month straight. And before that, we were kind of just like, obviously we're going to have a baby at some point. It's not like, okay, let's make sure everyone's lined out and like, let's check in on them and like blah, blah. It's like they just all did their job and came to work on their own every day and just did whatever they were supposed to do. It's sort of just like, everybody's an adult. There's only 7 people in this office. It's one table where nobody has like their own office. So we had a guy early on who wasn't doing a good job. And like, just every single person knew that guy wasn't doing a good job. And then he left on his own. He just ghosted us and didn't show up.
Is there an Eclipse store? Okay.
Yeah.
Has there been communication?
I talked to him afterwards, like just met with him at a restaurant a couple days later and talked to him. And
but since
then nothing. No.
Dude.
I don't need to spend time on that type of person in my life.
I forgot. Hold on. I'm always. You're good. You're good. COVID protocol. I always pull this off
windscreen,
spray it down, and then sanitize the area.
Nice.
Around whatever that thing does.
Nice.
I just realized I forgot to put yours back on.
Yeah, that's
good.
But
you don't need what that.
So it's just like, okay, I got like a lot of stuff going on now. I got 3 kids. I'm trying to like have a good time and see them and spend a few minutes with them every day. And I don't even see the people that I like, or my own family. And it's like, if you're going to be kind of a douche to me, then it's like, all right, well, I know, need to spend more time with you in my life.
But there was like there was a history. I
Yeah.
don't get how you, not you necessarily,
Yeah, I mean,
but
I think
making the choice that he made, you're risking just kind of shoving all that off the side of the cliff. I don't.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I'm not like it's not that big of a deal, but it's just like if you're gonna treat me that way, not only like me as a person, but also my business and
My
my
family.
finances and everything. So then it's just like also just it's like if you just think about the core values of who it is, and then you just realize it's like, well, I mean, kind of that's how they are. Get it out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I was you sort of again just kind of here and there, not a whole, a very very small sample size, but when there was either hangs next door or up at their place, like
Yeah.
the after the report from my oldest was always like about their oldest
Yeah.
and sort of being afraid of being caught in his Tasmanian.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe we might not have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, it's sort of
Which
just
is
like
a joke and a little sad at the same time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's sort of like I think as time goes on and the more people I have to deal with and get like in our jobs, like when we're building someone's house or something and we're also dealing with all their finances, like doing stuff for them that it's like, I need to know how you live because I'm going to build what you're going to live in. And then also, I need to know how you deal with finances because like you have to pay for all this shit. So I really get to know people like on a different level than like their friends know them because it's like, I need to know how you live, but then also I need to know like how you deal with
Yeah.
finances and like, are you reasonable when I just need you to pay the bills that are due to me? And so in doing that, like I'm getting such a deep like knowledge of how people are that it's just like some people are good and chill and some people are crazy. And it's just like I know them for a long period of time in such a deep way where then it's just like they are that way.
Yeah.
That's the way they are. And I can't expect them to be better or worse or different. And so it's just like that's not the way I want to be. I'm not gonna try
Yeah.
to spend
Well,
time with those people.
So are you guys, are you 449?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 441, 449, and it's 2022. Have you been there since 15?
Well, when we had that incident, they said that
The most recent?
theft losses on your insurance down there for 7 years, and the first one when we were renovating our house was 6 years ago.
Okay.
So I guess it's been 6 years.
So I remember, I know I've mentioned this in passing once or twice, but we sort of met standing under the magnolia tree.
Yeah.
Is it a magnolia tree?
Yeah, a friend there.
That
yeah.
you love and
Yeah.
that kind of destroys your wife for a few days every spring.
Yeah.
Didn't you take like a kind of a snow angel picture or video in the leaves?
I always try to take as many pictures and videos of that as
Right.
possible out there.
So I remember I must have been doing some kind of yard work because I remember feeling hot and like
Yeah.
ick. But I remember all four of us, and maybe, I don't know if Ivy was there or not, but standing under that tree when we met.
Yeah.
And I feel like Tara had a Jayhawks shirt on, just, t-shirt and shorts. And,
Yeah.
And I remember like taking in the information that you had purchased this home and you're gonna gut it and redo it and then move into it, and just being like, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it through this yard mowing without like 65 fires like that. I don't have bandwidth to. And then the incident happens,
Yeah.
which I mean, we can go into if you want, but not too terribly long after that, you guys are gainfully employed.
Yeah.
And then you step away from said employment to launch this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
These people
those
are
people,
crazy.
they're out of their freaking mind. Or, you don't ever really like
Yeah.
scratched down to the but maybe they have maybe a fucking billionaire and
Yeah.
uncle died and they do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
But it was like
We're just poor crazy people.
well, and Ivy's 5 around then. 4?
We moved into this house and she was she was like 3. I think she was like barely 3.
Okay.
Maybe she was, well, she would have turned 2 in our condo where we lived.
Right.
While we lived there, which is crazy that we moved to Kansas City when she was 1. Because I just think of like she lived in Manhattan, but I guess she just lived there for like a moment. And
only because that's where she was born.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then we're just like, nobody's building expensive stuff in Manhattan, so we got to get out of here.
By the way, take this Airstream with you when you go.
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, the first leap, of course, is becoming a parent.
Yeah.
But then there's buying a home. There's making the choice to gut the home and redo it, and then there's the walk away from your gig and start a thing.
Yeah.
And then there's like, oh, by the way, there's another baby.
Yeah.
Not too far down the line from all that. And it's really like, I mean, the easy low-hanging fruit is to just go, oh, those people are crazy. But it really makes you kind of go, well, everybody's just kind of juggling their own different things, right?
Yeah.
Everything is different shapes and weights and sizes, but
somehow
or another, the shit you're juggling is similar to the shit that I'm juggling.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's bowling pins, and sometimes it's swords that are on fire.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's limes.
Well, that's the thing. Like when we're dealing with people's houses and they're like having some crazy reaction to what we're doing, it's just like, well, I can't necessarily hold myself fully responsible for you being a little bit crazy right now because, like,
page 7, clause A, number.
It's like when you and your wife aren't talking about what we're doing, but we're talking to you about what we're doing, and you guys aren't on the same page. I can't control that. So it has been crazy, and we're just always like, well, I mean, let's go for it full steam ahead. It's crazy because I feel like even when I first was in high school looking for a job, and I was like, I wanted to be an architect, but I couldn't get a job as a high school kid, so I started doing construction. And the guy had in the paper, my dad found it in the paper and cut it out and gave it to me and told me to call this number. But it was like in the help wanted ad in the back of the paper, and it said like construction worker needed and then a phone number. It was like the tiniest ad that you could possibly get.
Expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably $50 or something. And it was like construction worker needed and then a telephone number. I mean, it was full scale, probably like a half an inch tall.
The analogy that comes to mind is when Walter and the dude are trying to pick out a casket for Donnie.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is our most economical casket, sir. And he's like, give us a fucking coffee can. Like, that's how classifieds used to be. It was like, you want 6 lines, that'll be $700.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
For your machine to go for 4 seconds.
Yeah. So I got that. I remember my dad cut it out and it was on the fridge for like weeks. And he's like, call this person. I was just like, I don't know. This seems kind of crazy. But anyway, I called the guy and I worked with him for over 10 years.
No way.
Even that's the guy who I built Tara's parents' house with.
Wow.
So I got the job at the beginning and was just like trying to send this guy my resume, but I didn't really know how to work email or whatever. I couldn't get the
based on his ad, he probably didn't either.
Oversized PDF to go through or something, and it's just like, imagine trying to be a construction laborer and just trying to send a resume. It's like construction laborers just get hired by some hillbilly driving up to the job site in the middle of the day, like, hey man, I got some tools ready to work. But so I feel like even at that first job, I got the job and was just like, how can I like own this business? How can I like run this whole show? And then
hungry as a high schooler.
I just thought that every time I worked anywhere, I was just like, how long would I work here and then I like own this business and run this business? And I just thought that everywhere that I got a job, I just thought like, I'm gonna run this business someday. Like, I'm not just gonna not.
You're like Goldie
I'm not-
Wilson from Back to the Future, sweeping the deck. Yeah, I'm gonna be mayor.
Yeah, it's like I'm just not gonna just sit here and like
Right.
just do
Yeah.
nothing. Like, I'm gonna do my job and think about the next
Yeah.
highest up thing.
I don't know I know your dad a little bit. I don't know him super well, but I like to imagine in total dad form that every time he's like standing around a function or a whatever, and like the success or at least the trajectory of Cicada Co,
Yeah.
that he's like, it all started with an ad.
Yeah.
You gotta always take that little swath of credit and be like,
Yeah. Well, I feel like the crazy thing is it's like Tara's family is high risk level family. Like, they're doing extreme stuff all the time. They're
Oh.
taking risk with their business and their money and everything. My mom had one job my whole life.
right.
She retired from a place she worked for like 34 years or something.
Did she advance or did she just stay in the same?
I don't know.
Sorry, Grandma Kathy, we didn't do the research.
I mean, I don't know what her job was throughout the times when I was little and stuff. And I mean, she had to. She worked there for like 35 years. I don't know what all her different jobs were. But
Does she
then,
still get a little something, or is it only
I
Social
think
Security?
like retirement stuff. I
Yeah,
don't know how
right.
it all works. But then my dad had two jobs my whole life. He worked as a butcher when I was little, and then he sold like insurance and stuff later after that. And
Oh, not two jobs at the same
No,
time. I was
no.
like, damn, Greg,
no,
you've earned those hunting trips.
yeah. So, they're both just like really conservative and risk adverse. It's like, gotta save for your retirement. Me and Tara just like, well, we're just gonna like risk it all every day of the week and maybe do something that is not recommended by our CPA, but
Yeah.
go for it.
Did you make it to that meeting with the retirement? Ooh, I'm gonna be in Japan
Yeah.
with my sisters for that trip.
Yeah, didn't
rescheduled.
do that. So, it's just like, I feel like we always are like, well, if we have the money that we could have saved for retirement, we should save that money and then put it into something and do something with it.
I mean,
So it's been crazy, but it's also, I think, been good. My dad has been so supportive and, helped us with a line of credit to keep our business going and stuff and all that stuff. So, I mean,
not to mention all the windshield time between Topeka and
Yeah, I mean,
here.
my
and
mom watching
Tuesdays and whatever. I don't know.
mom watching the kids, and then dad, like the first like year or two, like we still did like everything like I did when I was working for the other guy. So it's like my dad would come, we would demo everything
I
together.
mean, beginning with your home.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
The building of that fence.
Yeah,
And then the deck.
Yeah, me and my dad built that deck. It was like the kid's birthday. It was Alma's first birthday and Ivy's 6th birthday. It was a Sweet 16 birthday party.
Kyle,
And
get that deck built.
it was literally like Friday and we had nothing built. And then the party was on Sunday. And me and my dad framed the whole thing and put all the decking down on Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday was the party.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, can you come help me? And you're like, I can't, motherfucker. You understand?
We were just like, okay, we got to put all the wood. We got to deck
Well,
this whole thing. I
think-
put down like one screw per board. We didn't even like finish screwing
That's
it down.
right.
I still have it.
I remember you like pushing down with your
It's
foot
a little
on a couple
floppy,
spots
but-
when during the party or whatever. Being
Yeah.
like, we gotta.
We got to finish this up at some point. It's only been 4 years, so
Whatever,
we'll
man.
finish it up.
Whatever, man.
It's
It'll happen.
fine. We can still hang out there and sit on it and drink. Just doesn't have all the screws.
So, speaking of which, and I think I already mentioned this in passing to Tara, but the dude that did episode 17 is the dude that does my tree shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I really, the front yard tree, I just really wanted it trimmed away from the house and then
Yeah.
trimmed along the sidewalk and from the corner of the driveway so that like there was clear trajectory for basketball shots.
Yeah.
And he's like, we'll clean this one up and this one up. And then he showed up with his crew, and he was like, just kind of hit everything for him and don't charge him more. I was like, I don't need you to do that. Really, I only wanted clear basketball shots and for you to tell me one more time that this massive tree back here in the corner is not going to crush. And he's like, dude, it's fine. Like,
it looks sketchy.
Yeah. And he's like, we'll trim up this maple over here, the one that's on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's up with that Airstream? And I was like, I don't know. I bet you could ask them, and I could give you just as good of an answer as they. He's like, he should. If they're not using it, they could get good money for that right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I don't know if that piques their interest, or if like actually keeping it to try to do something with it piques their interest, or what. But
yeah,
it's fast. He was like, dude, people, which it is in line with the way the car market has gone. Like, people are paying insane. They'll buy your car from you and give you way more
money. Yeah. Someone was just telling me recently they bought a car, and then like within a couple weeks the dealership was calling them back like, hey man, we'll give you more money than you paid, we need that car. It's crazy. But the Airstream, it's like, I bought that when me and Tara were just dating for super cheap. Also, it's the shell is not like crashed or nothing's been screwed up on it, and the inside is empty, and it's just like,
it's empty. I thought it was full of shit.
Well, okay, yeah, it is. It's just like piled high with BS, but it's not like fixed into a usable situation. Like, there's not even a floor in there. There's just plywood laying down on the frame and not even covering the whole frame.
Wait, so if you were like a bird sitting in it, when you towed it to here, you could look down and see the highway?
No, there's an underbelly, but there's not like a wood floor.
Okay.
So it's like not even remotely usable, but it's like, I can't just like sell it and take the cash that it would give me to sell a gutted Airstream. I want to take the Airstream and turn it into like a cash flowing asset. Like, I want to turn that into an Airbnb or something, you know? And it's just like, I just need to find the place to put it. And then
you couldn't do anything where it is right now.
I mean, I probably could, but it's also like, I don't necessarily want people just staying at my house on my property.
Oh,
you know?
but I mean, you could fix it up.
I could probably fix it there,
and then figure out where to put it. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also kind of want it to. It's not. It's like a 31 footer, and so it's like, if you want to haul it, you gotta have like a 3/4 ton pickup, like a bigger pickup than mine. Once it's all fixed up,
you
it's
did
just
not
heavier.
Pull it here with your current pickup.
Yeah, I think I did,
okay.
Or maybe even a different one that was not. I don't know what I pulled it here with. I forget, but once it's built out, it will be heavier.
Right.
Right.
And
so, it's fine around like Kansas where it's flat, but if you go somewhere with like mountains and hills, it's like you need a big old truck to pull it around. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't really need to pull it around. I will build it in place and like make it have a nice toilet and stuff, not like a camper toilet. I want to flush a porcelain throne.
Yeah.
And have like a bigger than camper shower in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've just never even thought about building it out like a camper style camper. It's like, I just want to build it out big time. But,
yeah, you got to quit having babies and opening businesses if you're going to do that.
Well, it's like, I was going to live in there, but then it's like, well, I get along with Tara pretty good. All right, we're getting married. Okay, well, we have a kid, and that's not going to work. And then it's just like, now I got 3 kids. Like, there ain't no way I'm living in that thing. But, it's still there, and I own it, and it doesn't cost me anything to keep it.
Right.
Except it's like sort of taking up the most prime flattest part of my whole yard.
No.
Everywhere else in my whole yard is all like sloping away from it. I can't even put a little kiddie pool in my yard. It's like half filled on one side.
Weren't you talking at one point about bringing in whatever metric portion of soil for the cherry side of the fence?
Yeah, I just want to build I just want to build a retaining wall around the edge, flatten the whole yard out, so then I just got usable yard everywhere. And I mean, ideally, I would just put turf around it, flowers,
Sure.
wildflowers.
Wait. So I don't know where I was. I feel like I was somewhere. I think I was on the float trip. I think I was down in Arkansas when I saw your reel or whatever or story. I don't know if I necessarily. I mean, stories are up here and reels are in the middle, right?
Yeah.
But it was one of those of
Just getting mowed.
Well, no, the city had just stopped by.
Oh yeah.
And said, "Hey, they're pre-complaining.
Yeah.
It's not
yet,
but you haven't done anything, have you?"
So the guy came by who works for like code enforcement or whatever.
Okay.
And he's just like, "Oh, we got a complaint, that this is gonna block the view of the intersection." And they complained the same thing last year.
Oh, so it was the same party?
Well, it was the same guy. Oh, I don't know who made the complaint, but it was the same guy who works for the city that came out here. And he came out here last year.
You got a visit last year, too.
Last year, he's like, it needs to be cut down. Last year it was insane. It was like, there's parts where it's like 7 foot tall. Yeah. So I was just like, that's reasonable. This is like insane. I just planted literally like 300 different flower seeds. I planted 3 varieties of mixtures of seeds. So just like, I don't know what I'm even planting. I'm just going to plant all these different things and see what happens. A lot of stuff happened. It got huge. It was like blocking the sidewalk, blocking the road. It was covering everything. I was kind of like, dude, this is like, I was even thinking I wanted it, but I wanted to cut it down cut it back.
Well, I thought that in, I don't know, man, the early 90s when I was like really like freshly dialed in with marijuana.
Yeah.
And like buying High Times and shit, and like I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna buy. I don't, and then it's like a half step further. You're like, oh, I totally get busted. So you like knew out, but you start reading, and it's like, so if you're trimming vertically, then it flowers more this way, and it generates more. I thought that was maybe gonna be. Like it would, and then it like bushels. Well, I don't know.
I was thinking like I was gonna cut some flowers and have like flowers in my house, but then there's like a million flowers. I'm just like, this is sweet. I just didn't do anything, and they're just like going crazy. I remember going out there one time last year, and it was like the whole street was just buzzing. There was like 400 bees in this whole thing.
That's
like,
cool.
Every flower had like 3 bees on it, and I was
it's it's like Woodstock for the insects.
Amazing! I was like, this is
it's like bugs passing out. The cops are coming.
They just got so many varieties. Drugs. They're just like, I'm getting all this stuff. Whatever. I don't even know what color I'm landing on right now. And so I was just like, dude, this is sweet. And we had like a little hummingbird feeder on our window, and they were there nonstop, just eating. And I was just like, oh, this is sweet, because it was just grass and a stump from the tree they cut down.
I forgot there was a tree there.
Yeah, I was like, this is kind of cool. And then I touched the trunk one time, and like my whole hand just went in the rotted trunk. I was just like, whoa, this is leaning towards both my vehicles. Get this out of here immediately. It was an ugly tree anyway. If it was cooler, I probably wouldn't have called the city to cut it down immediately, but it was going to crush both my cars if it fell down, and it was really rotted. So it's just like, this area has a tree stump. It has just junky grass. I want to do something besides like fix what the stump is and then like put more grass in here.
Right.
Look at the rest of my yard. I don't want grass. So I was just like, I want to plant a bunch of flowers. My grandpa, my great-grandpa, everybody had a big flower garden.
Cool.
And my dad has tons of flowers. And it's just like, you plant a vegetable garden, and then 100% of the people who have a vegetable garden are just like, oh, I got like 400 tomatoes. Does anybody need tomatoes? I'm trying to make salsa. I've eaten salsa every day of the week.
I've been canning for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't really want to deal with that. Tara's a master chef. She figures out what she needs, and she gets it.
Not to mention just the devastation of seeing squirrels out there just destroying the literal fruits of your labor.
Yeah. When there's just like a million squirrels, it's like, I'm not going to deal with that. but flowers, it's like, that's amazing. That's awesome. They're pretty. The kids love them. They change all the time. So it went pretty good. And then I was just like, it's sort of the end of the season. I need to mulch it down anyway. I want the seeds to go back in here.
Of course.
And so I was like, it's kind of great. So I mowed it because the guy was like, you got to mow this down. Somebody's going to, like, you're going to get in trouble if you don't mow it down. And so I just mowed it down myself because I kind of needed to. And so then this year that guy came back out, and it was on a Friday, I believe, a Thursday or Friday. And I was going to work or whatever. It was in the morning. So I was walking out and I saw him and saw he was taking pictures with this full-size iPad out there. And so I was just like, hey, I live here. What's up? And he's just like, oh, so I got a complaint from the city. Or from somebody who called the city, and so I was just checking it out. I was just like, it's just all natural. Like, I bought specific, like, native local wildflowers for this area, and he was just like, yeah, it's not bad. There's a couple weeds in there you probably need to pull out. And I was just like, I'll do that, but like, I like this thing. I like these flowers and stuff. He's like, all right, I'll talk to my boss. And then, like, I think it was even later that day on Friday, he called me back and he's just like, I talked to my boss or my manager. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I gave him a card. I was like, I'm the owner, so tell me what we need to do here. And he called me and he emailed me and he's like, I talked to my boss or my manager and it's all good. You just need to pull out those couple weeds. I'll come back on like Monday or Tuesday or something and check it out, and I'll send you a letter in the mail that it's all good. And so
suddenly the focus is no longer what the complaint was about. It's about the weeds.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like noxious weed, like code enforcement type stuff if you just have your yard filled up with junk all over the place. But so the crazy thing is that it's like he emailed me documenting that he talked with his manager and that it's all good. And then
this year.
This is on Friday this year,
yeah.
A couple weeks ago on a Friday. And so then on Wednesday morning, we get a call from our babysitter. She's like, she called Tara. We're at our office, which is like 3 minutes from here. She's like, hey, Tara, somebody's here to like with a mower ready to mow down your flowers.
What?
And I was just like, what the hell? And I was like, I'll go there. I want to go there. If they're gonna mow them down, that's fine. But I have we had a pair of clippers like in my hand at our office to like cut flowers, because we make arrangements and stuff for our photo shoots and everything. And I was like, I want to take these
floating chandelier.
Yeah, for our light fixtures, whatever. So I was just like, I want to at least cut a bouquet of flowers from this thing. And then they can mow down the stems.
Wait, so did he say have it fixed by Monday, and then now it's Wednesday and it wasn't fixed? So that's why we're there?
No, he just said like, it's fine, but just like take out those weeds.
But he didn't give you a deadline for the weeds?
No, well, he said he would come back and check it out and then let me know. And so this was on Wednesday, which it's like, this is the government. Like, he came there on a Friday, and this is literally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning. So two working days and like
some
a half an hour of another working day. And these guys, there was literally like a van and a giant trailer with all these different mowing apparatuses.
Bullshit.
And there was like 8 guys there.
No way.
It wasn't like a guy in a mower. There was literally like 8 people there.
Tax dollars hard at work.
So Tara was on the phone with our babysitter and like, hey, Cal's gonna come over there and he'll like at least just cut a bouquet of flowers. Like, can they just wait 3 minutes? I literally get in my truck, drive over here. By the time I got here, everything was totally mowed down.
No way, it's mowed down right now?
Yeah, they mowed the whole thing like instantly. They literally could not have waited like even 1 minute from when that happened. I haven't even noticed.
Wow.
They couldn't have waited even 1 minute because they couldn't have been done mowing and put the mower away fast enough if they were hustling, and these guys were not hustling.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So they just instantly showed up and mowed the whole thing down. And so
So did the babysitter had a person that she was relaying the message to, and they're just like,
they're just like, we got our work
We
order.
got a work
We're
order,
doing
yeah.
our thingy. And so I get here and I'm just like, guys, what the fuck?
they're still here.
Oh, they're all still here. They're just like getting ready to blow the weeds off the sidewalk. I was just like, geez, this is insane. So I was like, who's the boss here? And I figured out who the boss guy was. And I was just like, I have this email from the city from like Friday that says this is okay. He's like, I don't know, man. Just get my order. He had it. The thing that makes me the most sad is like he had a piece of paper that was printed off emails, and it had like a couple messages back and forth with some other city worker that's like, we just need to mow this down. And he's just like, so I'm mowing it down.
And that other person was not the guy that came out, or that guy's boss.
I don't know.
Some other person.
I was too distraught. I didn't look at the names on there. I didn't keep the paper. I should have kept the paper that the guy had the printed off email of, because I feel like it was the guy who came out here, because there was pictures on the work order that he had, and they were pictures that guy had taken from his iPad, because I was in one of them because I was outside.
So he's telling you one thing and doing another?
I feel like that's the way it is. But so anyway, Tara put a thing on Nextdoor about it, and she's just like,
oh, she did.
Whoever like called us in, like, this brought a lot of joy to my family, you know, and this is just like so sad. Like,
did she put pictures too?
Yeah, so she put the before and the after picture on there, and she's just like,
did it generate any conversation?
She wasn't necessarily. We never use Nextdoor. I think she
Yeah.
downloaded the app to make the posts.
Every time I have to get on there, I gotta like wake the app up and
re-download the whole thing. And so she was just like, made the post just to put it out there, because it's like, I mean, you know what? This is like pretty killing my vibes.
Yeah.
And so she made the post, and then it was getting just blown up.
No way.
There's like 80 comments on
Bullshit.
it. And one of them is from, or I don't know, one of them wasn't from this guy, but this guy who works for Kansas City Water was just like, he came to our house because he saw the post, and he brought his business card. And so our babysitter took a picture and sent it to us. Was like, this guy is here, wanted to talk about the flowers and stuff.
Oh my God, it's like a fucking news story.
So I call this guy up, and I'm just like, hey, I'm the owner. I'm just calling you. They cut down on my flowers. And so Kansas City Water is like higher authority than other things, because they're just like, oh, there's a problem here. Like, I can just shut the water off to this house. That sort of like ruins everybody's day. So Kansas City Water has more authority than like a lot of other people, but they also deal with like the stormwater and the sewer, and they're trying to implement these like natural plantings around. And so it's like there's like 650 areas around town where they're trying to implement natural plantings, because it absorbs a lot more rainwater and keeps their storm sewers from being all filled up and overflowing. So they're trying to do this, and eventually I figured out that this guy just had this giant rain garden where they had, that the city made and owns and planted, and they had a maintenance person come there, and they just mowed the whole thing like it was a field, but it was like natural grasses and flowers and stuff. And he's like, this just happened a little while ago. It caused like $40,000 worth of damage. And so he's like, I'm kind of fired up anyway, but also this is insane. Like, I can't believe this ever happened to you.
80 comments?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's tons of people that were just like, oh, thankfully a lot of people were kind of like, we loved that flower garden. We were sad about this. There was a couple people like, oh, I could see why they call it in, you know.
Of course.
I mean, it's just like, you know, butterflies floating through the air and the mower just blowing it over. But so anyway, this guy's like doing it all on his own, on the side, really invested in it, because he's just like, this is crazy. I don't want this to happen. And then today, so I've been talking to this guy back and forth like almost every day this whole week.
Wow.
And then today he called me, and he's just like, yeah, well, so my boss came back in town from vacation, and she's like at the end of the week switching to the parks department. So she didn't want to get like too involved, but she was also really upset. And he was just like, I'm just, dealing with this on my own because I think this is kind of crazy. And she's just like, no, I mean, this is our job. You can like take this on as a part of your daily task. So now it's official city business. But he's been emailing, and I sent him an email of all the pictures of like the kids pointing at their favorite little flower and stuff. I mean, like literally,
you should have sent a picture of the progressive dinner.
Yeah,
we
flowers.
We harvested
everywhere.
from
Yeah. Well, so I had literally just taken pictures with the girls like the day before I got mowed down, like next to their favorite flower and stuff. And so, anyway, he was just like, this is freaking insane. So he's been sending all those pictures to all the different people in the community, in the government works. And I have a video camera on the front of my house, and so I took a video shot of the van that was there, because he's like, who the heck is the people that came there? I'm like, they're wearing a city embroidered shirt. Like, it's the city. I don't know you're the city. I don't know who they have embroidered shirts that say the city on them with the little fountain logo and stuff. So anyway, he sent that picture of those things around to everybody today. And he's like, those people are the like community service, like people that like, they're like ex-cons. Yeah, it's like, you got to do community service. It's like, that's who those people are. Because the boss man was just driving like a pickup truck, like a regular truck without city logos on it. And the van that was hauling all the mowers didn't have a city logo on the side, but it was like one of those dark green vans that was city owned. But I mean, when I was pulling up, they were like trying to tell a guy how to use a leaf blower and stuff. I was like, this is a weird ragtag group of people. But everybody's wearing city stuff. It's like, you're telling me you have city landscape maintenance people that also don't know how to work a leaf blower? What is going on here?
I mean, maybe if you just put the shirt on and people just keep driving and they don't ever question anything.
So earlier today, he's just like, you need to tweet the mayor and you need to tweet this other guy. Because you need to like get it out there. Like, if you're pretty upset, I feel like the best way for it to get action is for you to put all this stuff out there to those people.
Other gal told him that he could work on it on his work
That
day.
Happened later in the day today.
Okay.
And then after he sent that picture,
you got to do it all. Oh wait, we're there with you.
Okay, we're gonna help you. So anyway, it's just the craziest thing, because he's just like, I don't understand how this could have ever happened, because this is crazy. And they also should have at least given you warning, or like
2 minutes.
Yeah, it should have, like, you should have been given like a thing, like, you have to cut this down and we're gonna like give you a fine or something. But this sort of exact same thing happened last year to this old man over in like, I don't know, some not so great area. He had what I have by the street, like sort of over his whole yard. Okay. And it looked a little crazy, but it was all just like natural wildflowers. And there was an NPR story about him and all kinds of stuff. And so the city guy today was just like, you're sort of like the 2022 version of this same thing. But that guy, they like gave warning to, and are like, if you don't cut down all these flowers, these are kind of crazy. People don't like them. You need to cut these down, or we're going to give you a fine or cut them down ourselves. Which that would have been fine. No one said. The only interactions I had was from the city telling me I don't have to cut them down, and then they get here and they cut them down before I can even come here and trim myself a bouquet of flowers.
So that's really wild. But I three thoughts. One, I very seldom am coming up Cherry from 66th to turn onto our street, but every once in a while I gotta drop off the swimsuit or pick up a bike or what. And so a couple times last summer I was like, yo,
I know it is kind of blocking the intersection view,
but so that's one. Two, before it reached that, every single time I mean, like I said, I didn't even know it was gone until every time I would see it when it was like kind of in its, I remember, I think you took the wood burning torch out there to kill everything. And then I remember seeing like, was there some like
Like a sprinkler hose in there? Yeah.
And then I saw you watering it a couple times, and then it was just like, and when it was like before it got, every time I would see it, I would hear the opening strum to Wildflowers.
Yeah.
You know Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful song and a beautiful record, and it really, I mean, it just gave me goosebumps thinking about it. Again, a lot of good vibes.
Yeah.
Which makes it even sadder. But the third thought is, so when it was, I mean, I was kind of, I mean, I had a roof over my head and so forth, you know, from 15, 16 through high school graduation. But by the time it came around to like taking the ACT and like applying to colleges and like giving colleges the fees, and I mean, I was like on my own. Like my parents were like, "What's going on with college?" I'm like, "I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know."
Dang.
But then, so I mean, I had a little bit of help, but I took a year off and moved out to Colorado and spent that year getting things in place to have residency status, which was denied twice before I moved to the town. And then I moved to the town just kind of like, you know, hope it works. And then I got denied the third time, and when that happens, you get an appeal meeting, and they're like, and when that, and now school has started, and I have a dog and a girlfriend, and we're like living in my truck.
Yeah.
And then we found a place and we rented a room. And when I had my meeting with these people that are determining whether or not I will ultimately pay in-state or out. And by the way, my financial aid is on hold. Oh. So I have no books. And like, they're just handing out assignments. I'm like, I can't do anything until
I don't know how to do this without a book.
If this goes this way, then I can get money and I can go buy books and I can do the shit. If it goes this way, I won't be a student here. Like, that's how this is going.
Yeah.
So when I got in there, they're like, everything looks pretty legit up until these last 6 weeks, and there's nothing. And I'm like, well, because, you know, I was moving across the state, and then I did move here, and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, do you have? And I literally had a shoebox or some kind of, and they were like, but it was like organized.
Nice.
With paper clips and alphabet. I don't know. And they're like, oh, dude, okay. Usually we get just a trash bag full of shit and people expect us to sort. Anyway, I got it. And so from that point on, it was like every single step. I mean, all the steps leading up to applying and moving and all the steps, I was completely on my own. And so it would be like, okay, to get your financial aid, you gotta like go to the admissions office and you gotta da-da-da. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm taking 15 hours. I have a 45-minute window, and it's like a 30-minute walk back and forth.
Yeah.
If I get there and like there's no line, this could work.
Yeah.
And you get there and there's like 46 people in line. It's just like, fuck.
So
that gets pushed to a new day, and everywhere if I had to go to records, you know, and get like I have to get a document to go show. Every single step of every process was just full of hurdles and roadblocks.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point just being like, I don't know how you. And the lady was like, "This is what," and she's like worked for 30 years behind. Yeah.
Like,
and they literally have like a pull down, like, you know, metal garage door.
Yeah.
And at 1 o'clock they take their lunch, and then, you know, and there's always a line of people waiting for them to open. Anyway, I remember one day her being like, well, this is what people mean when they say red tape and bureaucracy. And I'm like, this is every person on this campus that sends me to another person on this campus are all employees of this university, this college that's part of the state-run secondary educational system. And like, you can't just, I mean,
like, what's the last step here? Give me to that guy.
Well, and you know, this email is still kind of budding, but but there's certainly fucking manila envelopes and interoffice mail and wire baskets.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you can't take the thing
To
and put
that
it,
guy?
and then somebody picks it up and take. Like, I have to physically walk to all these, and it was never like all the way, even for the job I have now. I had to get a transcript. It was like,
yeah.
it's electric. Hey, fucking did it to credit card for $45 or whatever. And then, and I remember, like, oh, cool. And then there was like a hiccup, and it's like, oh, if you want to do that, you got to go over here to this website and then come back to our website and show that you were at that website.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What is
still, to
like,
this day.
it's,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was just like, I mean, you work there. The guy who gave me the notification, he works for the city. The people that mowed everything, they work for the city. Who you don't know who they are? Like, there was a whole truck here with like tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Also, there's the truck, there's the van, there's the trailer. Who owns all that stuff? They all have on uniforms. Like, nobody even knows. But
well, we had to, God, this has just been a couple weeks, or maybe a month ago. That Highlander that Anna got, like, I noted, I had to, I think I was running over there to put baseball gear in the garage or something. And I think she must have walked to work, but her car was in the driveway. And I just glanced and saw that her temporary plates were like 70 plus days overdue. And I was like, yo,
Dang.
she never handled that.
yeah,
I mean, she just made a clean sweep from like her dad handling it to me, like
straight away.
and so I was like, and she's like, I don't know. I was like,
You gotta go.
you used to have all the things, but now they've made it easier. Like,
Oh, really?
For, at least for like inspections, it used to be like, if your car is 5 years old or older.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like, anyway, but shit got all sorts of messed up because I came back with a truck and I traded it in to buy a car, and my dad co-signed for it, and then he died, and so it became my name and his name to my name and TOD, something like something about on death.
Yeah.
And then she has this car, the red one that I used to drive that we bought from her sister. And at some point there were like two accounts, and it was messed up because shit like got overlapped. It was really weird. And then she wasn't on this. Anyway, so she went to get it titled, and they're like, you don't exist anywhere in the system. And she was like, but what do you mean? And they're like, you don't exist anywhere in this. You have to go down to the place and like create a profile, and then you can come back. And I was like, that's so insane. Like, they have probably they have access to all the information to just be like, oh, this is your name, this is your address, and you have ID.
Yeah.
And blah, and okay, now. And so so I was like, I'll go with you because I need to make sure. I want to try and sort out these because I've got the Vespa and now I've got the Acura, and I want to make sure that it's all not in the places. Anyway, so I go there, and they're like, you need to pay for the RAV4 and the Highlander. I'm like, we don't have those cars anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, to prove that you don't have the RAV4, I need to see the title on the Acura, and to prove that you don't have the Highlander, I need to see from the police and the insurance that it was stolen, and yada, yada, yada. And so she's able to pull that stuff up right then and there. And I was like, I literally when I went to the DMV the last time to get plates, I took my, they send you the property tax people send you a claims thing for the first of the year, and you're supposed to claim all your stuff, cross out if you don't own it anymore, or you can do it digitally. And I went there and I was like, I'm super late on this. Can I do it here and hand it to you, or is there a place in the building? And they're like, that shit doesn't really matter. I was like, oh, cool. I've been every year. I've been like, I gotta. So
Yeah.
the lady was like, you don't own an Acura MDX. I'm like,
I mean,
yeah, okay.
I drive it.
Yeah. I put gas in it. It's got some really gross fucking booster seats in it if you want to come. Anyway, she was like, you don't, well, you got to do all this shit. And I was like, dude, I fucking asked at the place. And they said that shit doesn't matter. She's like, they should not be saying that.
Yeah.
That is a different department. It matters to us.
Yeah.
And I was like, aren't you guys literally under the same?
How many different
Can't you email the person that told me them
Yeah.
that and be like, don't do that anymore?
Yeah.
But instead, it's like,
you're in trouble. It's like, I feel like if I'm doing something with my car and the government system, whatever it is, it's like I'm going to that building 2 times.
Yeah,
The
dude.
first time I'm going with 25 papers, and I'm going to just see what papers I also don't have.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming back the next time
Yeah.
with another piece of paper.
I want to be like, have you ever shared anything, like posted anything on Instagram? And down about 2/3 of the way, there's a little slide that says also share on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, can't you
share it? Yeah.
Can't you just be like also with the DMV?
Yeah.
Personal property tax needs to know about this, and
Everybody gets it. Yeah.
and I know you guys all lose your jobs because of that.
Yeah. It's just like,
It's
Yeah.
just so bananas, dude.
I mean, it's crazy because like with Cicada, we're just like, you know what? You know how difficult it is? You know how many signs are in a new construction yard? You got the contractor, you got the architect, you got the interior designer, you got the decorator, the furniture person, all these different people. And we've built projects like that before in the very beginning. And it's like, this person's got their own back. Every single person with a sign in the yard has their own best interest in mind. And they're trying to cross communicate with each other. And everybody's trying to get everything figured out and done. We're just like, hey, does anybody think that kind of sucks? Does everybody want to make it way easier? We'll do everything that everybody has a sign in the yard does. And we'll do it all here ourselves. And the thing that we get out of that is nobody wants to pay the same amount that they pay all those different people. They want to pay me as a contractor. They don't want to pay me as an architect and pay me as an interior designer and pay me as a general contractor. But we've also got people that come to us. They're like, I got these floor plans drawn up by my architect. Cost me $35,000. What do you think you can build it for? And it's just like, if we said, okay, to draw the floor plan, $35,000, to do interior design, it's more details, more components. We're going to charge you another $50,000. Then we're going to do the contracting. We're going to charge you even more. We would get 0 jobs.
yeah,
But that's the way it is. That's
you
what
would
people
literally
pay.
be living in that Airstream.
Yeah.
It would look nice, but that would be tight in there with all 5 of you.
So in general, we do architecture, interior design, and general contracting. But we're starting to try to just divide it up more and more, because it's like, if we do it like we think, it's like, this is super easy. We'll just do it all. And you get all these things. People don't want to pay for it. So it's like, we have to make it more complicated in order for people to be more willing to pay for the different services, because they're different things. People just think a contractor does all that stuff, but they don't. The contractor doesn't know anything. So it's just crazy. It's like people crave that chaos. I think everybody it's like living their life as chaotic as possible.
That,
I hate it.
dude.
I hate it. But it's just like, that's the way everything is set up. Like, nothing is set up easy. And it's just crazy. It's just, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think you could simplify it a lot, and I'm not necessarily gonna do this justice or have a high level of accuracy. But I mean, I feel like in the beginning, you guys would meet with somebody and they would be like, cool. And you would, I would assume, like, legit legal verbiage, documentation, and it would probably pretty explicitly say, if we agree on a thing,
Yeah.
and that thing has a price tag, we agree, binding paperwork, and we move forward, and then you change your mind,
Yeah.
and that bumps the agreed upon price, like, we're not just eating that. Like, you have to, but then you go down that road and people are like, well, hey, you said over here it was going to cost, and it's just like,
Yeah.
are you an idiot?
It's the hardest thing to convince someone of, that it's just like, things change price. That means,
but
you
also
change
we
price.
talked about this.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just, I don't know. People don't know what
Shit
the different
costs.
roles are, what anything costs. Yeah. I mean, in general, everybody's just like, how much is this going to cost, and when can you start, and how long is it going to take? It's like, well, what do you want? Like, I don't even know you. I mean, it's like, we at the exact same time put in a cooktop for $800 and a range in a house like 3 blocks away from this other house for $40,000. And so it's just like, how much does your kitchen cost? I don't know. Is your cooktop going to cost $800 or $40,000? Like, what's it going to be? I don't know. So
where do you find a $40,000 cooktop?
You just import it from the UK on a boat.
Of course.
So,
wow.
But it's like, how much does it cost? Well, it's like, I mean, do you want it to suck? It's going to be cheap. If you want it to be good and fancy and nice and not fall apart, it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you just go to an architect and you just dream, and your dreams, I guarantee you, are 3 times your budget 100% of the time. If somebody brings us a plan that they've just been dreaming with a designer, but no contractors involved any part of the way, that dream is 3 times your budget, just guaranteed, every single time it is.
Well, yeah, because they're just I'm just designing what you're speaking.
Yeah,
and I'm not,
we can do that. We can draw that.
I'm not sourcing the materials or the labor.
And then the other thing is, the person who's doing that designing and drawing, they're getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You design a project that costs $150,000 or $400,000, and you draw it all up, you get paid, then they go figure out how much it cost. You don't really care. You already got paid.
Yeah. Here, I'm on to the next job, man.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
What time do we need to get you out of here?
I don't know.
7:30 right now.
The kids were eating mac and cheese and hot dogs.
Were you given orders by the general?
Nah.
Be home by 9 or?
No, I've been doing laundry and putting the kids to bed, and so it's all good.
Do you need to run back for more of that? Do you want something from here?
Maybe.
If you want to run back, that's totally. I'll get something myself, and I just don't want you to
drink break.
I just don't want you to go and then not come back.
Yeah, we didn't even start talking about music at all yet.
I know. So,
okay. Well, drink break.
Drink break. All good in the hood.
Yeah, Tara said when I was over here that Winnie took like 5 steps in a row for the first time, like twice, 2 different times. She's taken like a step or two, just like a little step or two, but that, she just took like 5 steps in a row. When I was over there, she took a couple steps in a row.
Nice.
So she's been wanting to.
Cheers.
Yeah. She's been really wanting to.
Am I going to hear about that later? Kyle missed her first steps.
Yeah.
All right. So Cicada _Co on the gram.
Yeah.
Or Cicada Co or cicadacompany.com.
Yep.
Now is, generally speaking, is the idea or the hope for just perpetual growth, or do you think that there's a spot where you're like, that's probably as big as we want to get? Or
I mean,
who knows?
Overall, it's like I'm not shooting it like this year I did 10 projects. Next year I want to do 15. It's like this year our projects were 100,000. Next year they're 200,000. Like, I want to be doing just the most luxury of stuff possible.
Right.
So really it's like, for that avenue, we just want it to be super high end. And then we also are starting to do like furniture. Like, we'll design the kitchen and living room and whatever, but then, and before, that was the main thing, we would decorate it for like a photo shoot. But then now it's like we can also decorate the space and buy the furniture and get custom stuff made. Like in the Ozarks with that house we just finished. We were just down there yesterday.
Done?
Just punch list left, but we just went down there yesterday to do a walkthrough with the contractor to like make sure that everything looked good or make a list of what still needed to be fixed. And in that house, they were just like, we have one house. This is going to be house number 2. So we're just like bringing our car there. You need to do whatever else in this house is needed for a person to live here. So like do the design, but then also like get the beds, get the towels, get the washcloths, get the rugs.
They wanted you to do all that?
Yeah. Like we bought the plates, the cups, the silverware. We bought the couches, the rugs, the lamps. We bought picture frames, had them email us some of their favorite pictures, printed out pictures of them, put them in a frame and hung them on the wall. Like when they got there the day before Memorial Weekend, that Friday, they showed up with like just their clothes and they could live there. They had to get groceries. But they just moved in. Like there was spatulas, there was pots and pans, there was knives and cutting boards, and like so like we did the interior design and picked up the paint colors and stuff, and then we did the furnishing and the like personalization too. Like the lady likes designer clothing and stuff, so the books that we got, we bought like, Chanel runway catalog book or like all these designer books,
That's awesome.
Because we've been working with them now for like a couple years, so we know them, and they were thinking they might want to build an A-frame cabin, so we bought them a book about A-frame cabins to set on their table by their couch, So we got a custom headboard made for their bed. We bought the bed sheets. We bought backup bed sheets. We bought towels. Just everything.
And like, are they stoked?
Yeah, the wife just freaking loves Tara so much.
Oh, God.
And so we go down there on Monday, just yesterday, and the husband's like, this rug in the kitchen feels like gravel on my feet. It's like this thick knotted rug. He's like, I have to keep shoes in the kitchen so I can put them on and walk across this rug.
Talk to your wife, dude.
And his wife was just like, Tara said to put it there. Tara loves it. We're keeping it. We're not going to move it. We're not going to, like, they bought new toothbrushes because their other toothbrushes didn't look good just sitting out on the counter, and they were going to leave them out there. Wow. So they bought new black toothbrushes that blended in with the black countertop.
I am not living in the same playing field that they are.
They are doing good.
So would you say
they love Tara?
Would you say that this project from birth to punch list has been like relatively friction free?
No.
Oh. I mean, but in terms of your relationship with the customer.
No, not really.
Okay.
Because my boy Tom was the one who was going to go down there and meet with that contractor and like get things, be our eyes on site, because that's what he is.
Yeah.
And after like a while, things were just not going very fast or anything, and they're just like, Tom is off the job. He's never coming to our job site again.
The customer?
Yeah, the customer said that to us. Like, get Tom out of here. There's not, like, we never want to see Tom again.
Shout out to Tom, by the way.
Yeah.
Keep doing your thing.
Eventually, they figured out that the Ozarks is a fucked up place. And, like, come 3-4 months later, eventually they realized it had nothing to do with Tom. Oh. Tom's an awesome dude. They bought him a bottle of rum or something, like a fancy ass bottle of rum, and was just like, sorry, Tom, like, so you're not a douche. It turns out the Ozarks is crazy.
Did that mean Tom's back in the fold, or just
No, at that point in time, they were kind of locked in with me and Tara.
Oh,
and so they're just like, well, I mean, I'm not trying to hire you guys so I can just get like your workers. I want you.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're just like,
interesting.
So me and Tara were meeting with them, and I was handling the contractor and stuff, and turns out the first project manager that contractor had on the job was just like the worst.
Oh,
I mean, after one time down there, they're just like, I mean, the client, they haven't paid their bill. So we're going to like cancel this order of like all the wood floors for the whole house or something. And they're just like, I'm like, what? These guys don't have a problem affording your bills here.
I got a fucking that puppy.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Did you hear the end of that?
Till daddy save that till daddy comes home.
Yeah, when he's just taking her first steps and Tara's videoing it.
Don't do any more till daddy comes home.
Nice.
Oh shoot. So anyway, we go down there for
no problem. These people have no problem affording your bills.
Yeah. So we go in there and we drive down to the Ozarks to just do a job site check-in, see what's going on, and I don't know. It was just like in framing stage, and we looked at whatever, and then the contractor was just like, "Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to cancel this order of these wood floors because they didn't pay for their bills," and like, we're not just gonna pay for all these things. I'm just like, what? I don't believe that is like going on. Like, what is going on? Why would they be like that? Did you talk to them or anything? And they're just like, nah. So in like 5 minutes, I called her and was just like, hey, did you guys know that like they're going to cancel ordering all your stuff because they didn't get paid? Like, are you guys good? Or like, what's going on? And they're just like, what the hell? When did they try to get me to pay them? They just sent me an email one time and never followed up or never pestered me again. Like, who tries to get money that way? I mean, it's like, so they were doing a horrible job at the beginning. Also, everything that we designed this thing to the T. Like, we picked every single thing out because we're just like, when we're doing it ourselves, it's like, okay, let us know before you get to tile and we'll like pick out the tile. But for this one, we're just like, I don't know what we're dealing with here. Well, we're picking every single thing out. So we do it. But then every single step of the way, they're just like, I mean, where's this? What do we need to do for faucets? It's like, did you look at the plans? We called it out. So it was horrible because they were constantly like, they didn't say it. Cicada didn't say what we needed to do. It's like, we did. It's in the plans. It's in the plans that we printed off like 4 months ago. So, I mean, what do you want me to say here? So it was going horrible. I mean, this job that was literally, they wanted to move in last Memorial Day in 2021. And they moved in the day before Memorial Day in 2022. And we were there installing the whole house the day before that. And their TVs weren't even hung. We were leaving Friday night at like 8 p.m. and there's a guy there hanging TVs on the wall. And none of their light fixtures worked throughout their house because they were doing all this fancy lighting system. And the lighting system guy is the worst. And then the whole house is supposed to have automatic shades and all this stuff. They currently have paper shades because none of those are here either.
But they still love you guys.
But they still love us because the AV guy was the guy that they brought to the project and he fucked it all up big time. And everybody knows it. And it's just like, well, it looks good.
Right.
So
the growth then, I mean, so I'm assuming that there's like, from your guys' eyes, there's visible revenue and you guys are able to pay yourselves. So
yeah,
assuming that that's the case, the growth desire is to continue to generate new and more revenue but also to like really enjoy each. It's not just like as many as you can.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like we think about it all the time. It's like we just need to like let things happen more. But then while Tara was on maternity leave, we weren't even in the office, and Tara wasn't there for 3 months. And there's just different things that happened that everybody knows about that we're just like, Tara did not like that, and we wouldn't have done it that way.
Oh boy.
just little design details that we had to figure out at the moment, which is different when we have a team of people versus when I was the guy figuring out the stuff at the moment on the job site. It's like not that big a deal. I'm there 100% of the time. Nothing gets done the wrong way because I'm always standing there. But now that we have a team and we have all these people and all these other job sites going on at the same time, we don't just have someone living at that job site anymore.
Right.
So things can happen without someone being there. And then if they're wrong, they're wrong. And so that happened a few times. And we're just like, if we have to go up in the number of jobs we're doing, then we're not going to know what's going on all the time. And it's not like we're just trying to build stuff to build stuff. We want to build like as cool as shit as possible every square inch.
Right.
And so, we're just like, we just want to do more custom stuff. Plus, it's also like, if you don't really care that much about what it looks like, you don't want to pay that much for it. And you don't want to bother with us like scrutinizing the different handles and the back plates and all the details of the handle of the door. You want me to go to Home Depot and buy 50 door handles because your house has 50 doors and slap them on there.
Right.
And so it's just like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to pick it out and order it from
I know but you personally enjoy picking out little detail like that?
Oh, I love all that stuff.
Okay.
I feel like more than anybody practically. Like, I want all these little things to be like so considered.
So I remember not a ton of time ago, there was a project that one of the elements was a bathroom, or maybe the whole project was a bathroom, and there ended up being like this big granite bowl for a sink.
Yeah.
There was some kind of story about
like it's a big stone with like a rock,
where it was like X, Y, and Z for all, but then like Tara really had this vision, or she really had this desire or this wish or something to make that happen, and it didn't feel like it was possible, but then something.
Yeah. In that house, we had just a powder bath next to the kitchen on the main level, and it was just a small ass bathroom. It was basically the size of like a non-handicapped stall in a toilet.
Yeah.
But so the door was on the end, and we
powder
just
room
to do,
and punch powder room, bathroom, and punch list. I'm learning shit.
Yeah, this is just that's the water
the
closet.
Lingo.
Yeah, it was basically a water closet, which is the room where just the toilet is, and there's not enough room for anything else. But we shoved this little sink in there. The sink itself, the piece of granite was like 10 inches wide, but it was also like 12 inches tall, and it was like over 300-pound solid piece of granite. And it was a garden
put that
trough.
thing in a teeny tiny bathroom?
Yeah. Literally the heaviest sink ever in the smallest bathroom ever. And so we used like a hose bib, like a garden spigot on the wall, but it was like carved brass from where, like it didn't have threaded thing on the bottom where you could hook a hose to it. It was like this carved brass faucet with just like a tap, like turn on the top.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, what do you hook up? It's just got an inlet to hook up one water supply line.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we did instead is like we put a hidden in-wall shower mixing valve that you could access from the stairwell going down to the basement, that the hot and the cold go into, and you just set it at a certain temperature. And then the water coming out of it is always mixed at that. So in the bathroom, we just use that hose faucet where you just open it and one temperature of water comes out all the time. You can't adjust the hotness or coldness, but it's just to wash your hands. It's a little lukewarm thing. So we're making this thing work by doing 50 million different, more complicated things. And the granite trough was just a garden trough. But I had them drill a hole, like drill a bigger hole halfway through the bottom, then drill a smaller hole down in the middle so that you could put the tube through it, but then the bigger hole on the bottom was so you could put the nut on it. And then on the inside, I needed to drum a little hole for the thing to seal. So it was just like all these little technical details to make it all work. And it was so complicated. And it's like,
you loved that?
Yeah.
I feel like my memory of you telling this was Tara wanted this granite And we made it work, but
we
you
did.
actually did love it.
I love it, but it's just like it's so freaking complicated because then we had to have a custom steel bracket made, and we had to have that powder coated instead of just painted. But then they powder coated it the wrong color, and we had to get it repowder coated. And so it's like it was so freaking complicated. It's the most complicated thing ever. The faucet was a pain in the dick.
But it looked good in
The
the picture.
stone was hard. The bracket took 20 meetings. And then they put it in. Somebody put it in a little bit too low. So I took it off, remounted it higher, closer to the faucet because the faucet was tiny and it was splashing on the wall. And so we had to move the sink closer to the faucet. And then the underneath side, you can see the plumbing. And plumbers are just like, I'm putting in a plastic drain. It costs 10 cents instead of, $25. Where it's like, we can't do that. We got to do a metal drain pipe. And so it was just like, I had to special order the drain pipe. I had to special order the bracket, had to get it painted twice, had to mount it twice, had to do the faucet 50 different ways Sunday. It was just like every single step of it was the most complicated thing ever.
I feel like I just hear your margin just being
Yeah,
Pac-Man.
yeah. There's no bank account. There's just pictures left over from the project. So,
do they love it? Do they love how it turned out?
They didn't give a shit. They sold the house less than a year later.
Get the fuck out of here.
They just made money. They didn't care what it. I think they liked it, but it's also like
if I could measure the amount of mental energy and physical that I had to give to that sink, and you just sold the house.
Couldn't have cared less. They were so excited. They
Wow.
made a huge profit on
Wow.
it. They more than doubled their money in less than a year because the house was pimp as shit. We fixed it up. It had brand new HVAC, brand new electrical, brand new plumbing, the kitchen, all the bathrooms. We added a Jack and Jill bathroom to the second level. Every single thing in the house was
Now
pimped.
And now you're the designer. Like, we got paid. I don't give a shit what you do with that house.
yeah. They were they were like that.
Yeah.
But we didn't charge right. We didn't get paid for that job.
Oh, jeez.
So like if we made 20,000 on the whole job, they made literally like $290,000 on the job.
Seems fair.
So yeah, I guess they had the money to take the risk and do the work and hired us and
Wow.
pimped us out hard.
So you were born and raised in Topeka, right?
I was born. Well, I guess the hospital was in Topeka that I was born in, but then I lived in Alma.
Oh, you lived in Alma.
Yeah, I lived there from when I was born until I was in like 7th grade.
But Tara's born and raised in Manhattan?
No, she was born in Monmouth, Illinois.
Oh, okay. That's sort of familiar.
Or Sterling. And so she lived in Monmouth until like the 3rd grade or something like that.
So, but there's some. Your second born is named after that town. I thought you two had a connection to that town.
Just me.
Okay.
My dad's parents still live in Alma.
Okay.
So, yeah, just me. But yeah, because Tara then lived in Illinois. Then she moved to Western Kansas, and then she only went to college in Manhattan, and then we got married and lived there.
Oh, okay. So she did like the bulk of her growing up in other places.
Yeah, when she lived in Illinois, the town. She lived on a farm outside of the town, but the town was like, I don't know, nobody. 300 people. I don't know what size the town is. Maybe it was more, but she lived in the country, like 10 miles away from anybody. And then in Western Kansas, where she went to school and graduated high school in Larned, there's only 3,000.
That's right.
So, Larned, America. I guarantee you, you probably know more than one person from there. At this point in my life, I know like a million. Well, Larned's 3,000 people. I probably know 1,000 people from Larned.
It's crazy.
But they're everywhere.
Are your folks where they live? Or is that a home that you?
I lived in high school there.
Yeah, because
in middle school.
Your hockey gear is in the basement or something.
Yeah.
Your dad reminds me once a year.
Yeah.
You gonna have Kyle come? I don't. Bring the gear, dude. We'll see. I
just-
feel like one time he's like, I did bring it, and he didn't do it.
Yeah, I think it's in my basement
Okay.
now. There's a million things in my basement, so it's hard to keep track. But yeah, it's still haven't laced those skates up in
Yeah.
a couple decades.
So how did your folks meet?
Well, my mom lived in Maple Hill, which is like 200 people or something, and my dad lived in Alma, and I don't know, some small town thing. They saw each other, and then my mom was, well, I don't know, my mom might have been 15 at the time, but because she got married, I think when she was 16. She got her braces off for her wedding.
Get the fuck out of here. For real?
Yeah, my mom's mom had to like sign an approval letter for their like marriage or something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, because my mom was 16 when she got married, my mom and dad were married for like 10 years before they had me.
Right. Wow. Yeah. I mean,
Me and Tara had Ivy at our 1-year wedding anniversary picnic. She's just laying there on the blanket,
That's hilarious.
alive as could be.
and little did she know she would one day be the only sibling with 2 syllables in her name.
She didn't know she would be living on a job site the rest of her
Right.
life.
Yeah. So was there music in your parents' house growing up?
Yeah, I remember my dad, he had an 8-track player in our dining room.
Nice.
And
The dining room. Huh.
yeah.
Is this a house with also a family room and a living room?
We had a kitchen with this like hexagon shaped like little outlook thing. It was sick. It was when the house that I was born in was like across from the pool. So that's why I'm just a pool rat, I guess, because my mom was just like at the pool the whole time she was pregnant. It was this metal house that my dad bought for $11,000 on like a 20-year mortgage or something like that. And he said one time he got a bonus of like $700 or something, and it paid off 11 years of their mortgage. $700.
Oh, man.
And so that's the first house I was born in, and then they moved to this other house when they sold that house. I don't know if they actually bought it or if they just rented it while they were building a house in Alma. And it was freaking awesome. It was in the middle of a field. It was behind my dad's parents' house on some land they got. So they sectioned off like a little couple acres, and they built this house. And it was like, from the top side, you could walk in at ground level to the front door on the main level, and then the back was a walkout. But the main level, like the living room and the kitchen and dining room, you looked out from like the second story because the ground was a story down, and you could just see the horizon. We were in the middle of like a 5-acre brome field, and you could just see the horizon. You could see the sun come up. You could see the eastern horizon. And I just remember it was such a sweet feeling. Like when you sit in your living room, you're looking at your yard that's 5 feet down from the ground.
Is this where the Nature Boy handle comes from?
No.
Is that account still active?
I don't even know. Probably.
You posted on it, I think, or some you've done. Somehow it came to my attention. She used to tag you and shit.
Oh, yeah.
When you lived here.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, so it was just like, it was sweet. Also, the house had a room with a hot tub in it, which was amazing. And then my parents did that just on their own free will because they're just like, this is fucking sick. I can have a room with a hot tub. All right, let's do it. And then it turns out, shortly after we moved in there was a master bedroom and then a guest bedroom on the main level.
Okay.
And it was just me and my parents. And they were just like never supposed to have kids. It was a miracle that I was born. And then,
like, they were told they couldn't, or they didn't want to, or
I don't know everything about it, but like, yeah, I think there was like they weren't gonna have kids. Like my mom couldn't have kids, and then my mom she wasn't feeling good or whatever, and they did all kinds of tests on her and like body X-rays and stuff, and then she found out that she was pregnant after that. But while she was getting all these X-rays, and they're just like, you gotta you should have an abortion. This baby's going to be all fucked up. And the priest even came in and was like, it's okay. God will forgive you if you like have an abortion because this baby's going to be all
priest?
fucked up. Yeah.
Damn.
So everybody basically told my mom to just have an abortion. And she's like, no.
One day this baby's going to like Negronis.
This is a miracle that I got pregnant.
Right.
And so then that was me.
Wow.
She had me.
But A-track player in the dining room?
Yeah. And then the only reason I remember that, when I was a little kid, I didn't remember anything about having a 8-track. I don't know what an 8-track player is when I'm 4.
Right.
But the reason I remember it and know it is because we had a garage sale sometime. My mom just sold the 8-track player and all the 8-tracks. And like the speakers and all the shit, you know? And I remember my dad just being like, I didn't really want you to sell that. Like, what the hell? And I remember hearing him later on as I got older saying like, yeah, Kathy just sold all my 8-tracks, sold my 8-track player.
So they were listening to music, but you don't necessarily remember hearing it as you're a toddler or you know.
Well, I remember my babysitter, since my parents lived in a house right behind my grandma and she had a daycare. She was my babysitter.
Oh.
And so in her basement is where we had daycare. And she always had a cassette player going. Or like I guess it was just on the radio. And she was just always listening to country music.
Okay.
And it was just like early 90s country music.
What year were you born?
86.
86. Fuck. Okay.
So, you know, it was probably like, you know, not just, first half of the 90s, like country music.
Cool.
Like all day, every day.
So, some of that has stayed with you, right? Like you like some country, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, and then she also, I remember, had like a cassette tape of like a VHS of like a Garth Brooks concert or something. And I just remember watching this Garth Brooks concert, and he smashes his guitar, and there's like rain coming down on the stage and stuff. And I guess Garth Brooks has always had just like really amazing like theatrical concerts. But I just remember watching that Garth Brooks concert in her basement, you know, I don't know, 400 million times.
Right.
And then like listening to
start memorizing the credits.
Yeah, it's just like I know the shirts that he was wearing and just everything, you know. And I just remember I know every early 90s country song there is, you know.
Sweet.
Just singing nonstop.
And then so when you're like, you know, rolling up on teenage years, is it still is music still around, and if so, is it still country?
I think once I didn't go to daycare at my mom's, and my main music influence was just from my mom and dad. It was all just radio.
What were they listening to?
And so like my dad was listening to just like rock and roll, you know.
Okay.
And my mom would listen to like some rock and roll too, also like Kenny G.
Sure.
You know, just some like nice soft tunes. So, you know, it's the fucking 90s. That's what they were listening to. So it was just like, I don't know, nothing like current, you know, or nothing like 90s grunge or something.
Sure.
Like my dad hasn't picked up any new bands recently that he's like, yeah, I bought this like new album.
Yeah.
Not happening.
You got the new Mos Def, son?
Yeah. That didn't happen from like, you know, 19, like when I was born until now.
Right. So do you remember like taking the step from like just whatever they're listening to is the music in your life to either like radio in your room or buying a CD or a cassette?
Yeah. I got a CD player, a Sony CD player boombox thing. It had like the cassette on the front and the CD player on the top middle, and the two side speakers could come off.
Yeah.
That was the first stereo thing I got.
About 16 inches of cord to...
Yeah, but I never took the speakers off.
Yeah.
I was just like,
It's just dusty in there.
I wasn't thinking like I need like the unit and the speakers. I was just like, this is my boombox.
This just works how it is.
This is awesome. And so I remember with that, I got like Ultimate Party Mix 1997 or something.
Dude.
And it was just like party music. The cover said like Ultimate Party Mix 97. And
Like
the
that.
background was purple. Yeah, just like all
just
that.
builds, and you're like, how come there's not shots and girls in here?
The whole thing was like 20 tracks of that. Like that was what I got with that CD player.
Nice.
I almost guarantee you
Gift?
my
This is a
parents still
gift?
have that. Yeah, it was like a Christmas gift or something.
So they had the wherewithal to get you the unit and the CD?
Yeah. And that's the one that they got.
Good job, Greg and Kathy.
That's the only one that they
Or
got.
probably just Kathy. Greg's out there cutting tree roots out of the neighbor's yard.
Yeah, he is. He just hatching. Yeah. So I just remember it's like also I didn't have a job or allowance or nothing. Also, we lived in Alma. Like I'm not going down to the CD store.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like that's maybe the only CD I had for all of 1997. And then eventually I remember I had my best friend Tyler in early grade school. I think his like older sister had the same CD player. And it's just like, okay, cool. Sweet. That's cool. But I hung out with him the most, and his older sister, their parents allowed her to buy the Adam Sandler CDs, like the comedy ones, like
smoke your marijuana and drink your gin and tonica.
Yeah, and like just all the like old ass Adam Sandler comedy CDs, and I was just like, these are fucking great.
Yeah,
and they just like are hilarious like that.
Is there a new Sandler thing on Netflix right now?
There was that 100% perfect or 100% fresh, I think was the last one I saw.
Something I just saw somebody post about it the other day, and it's like one word.
Oh, Hustle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you checked that out?
No, I need to watch that. One of our clients is in that movie.
Wow.
So I should watch that.
So you got some party mix and some comedy.
Yeah. And so I just remember just like, this is hilarious. Like, I can't believe I was, like a third grader just cracking up to Adam Sandler comedy CDs.
He was a fucking funny motherfucker.
I feel like that's literally some of the first CDs. And then I remember one of my other early CDs, like the Godzilla soundtrack CD. And there was a Green Day song on there.
Okay.
And I remember like listening to that on repeat like a million times, and I was just like, Green Day, they're cool. And then we were in Colorado, in the town that's like all the way on the western border where there's a ski town. I forget what it is.
Not Grand Junction, Telluride.
Really far on the western.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Grand Junction. I don't remember what town it was. We went to some weird mall, and we went to a movie on one of our vacations. And it was kind of weird, but we were at this mall, and we went to this records, like a CD store, and I bought Dookie. And
Green Day.
I was listening to that like on my Walkman in the car home from Colorado.
Now you have two sources of music.
Yeah.
Portable and home.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like a Kenwood. Kenwood Walkman.
Dude, back in my day, Kenwood made some of the nicest decks for your car.
Yeah, the head unit things.
Yeah.
And I just remember really liking that. And I didn't really buy that many, but I remember I bought a CD burner thing that you could put in the tower of your old school computer,
Okay.
Where like the CD reader thing slid out the tray, you put the CD on.
Of course.
So I bought a CD burner that could go in there, but I don't know dilly squat about computers. I never like put it in there. I never set it up or anything.
You're like, just in case,
but
I'm buying this thing.
I bought it, and I was just like, I'm gonna burn a bunch of CDs. This is amazing. But it's just like, I guess I also probably need software. I need like a cord to hook the inside to the inside. I don't know. But then I also bought like a whole bunch of blank CDs.
You're getting ready,
and
man.
I was just like, I'm gonna burn a bunch of CDs, and it's just like I didn't do even step one. I didn't put the CD burner in the computer, but because my cousin always had a bunch of like rap music. My oldest boy cousin Lee, and he lived in Kentucky, and we would go there. And eventually, he was old enough to drive and have his own
Whose
car.
sibling is this?
He's the son of my dad's sister, my aunt.
Okay.
And so he lived in Kentucky, and eventually he had his own car, and he was driving, and I was riding around with him, and so he had his own CDs. And I remember he had, one of those
A Case Logic?
Yeah, 4 CD Case Logic, so it's like a
Big
giant,
fat fatty.
Yeah, like a 200 CD
Fucking
disc
so-
thing.
Yeah.
And then also the visor
Sure,
things. And
nice.
I was just like, oh, this is awesome. He has like so many CDs.
These are the 10 in my rotation right now.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
This is my
Didn't have the
archive.
multi-disc changer.
Right. Yeah, dude. It's too early for that.
Yeah. And so I was just like, this is sweet. And I was just like, man, how many CDs do you buy? And I remember he's like, I usually buy like 1 a week at least, maybe 2. I was just like, dang, dude, I've bought like 4 CDs in my whole life. That is amazing, man. You got a job and stuff. And I remember listening to like Notorious and like, I don't know, just all kinds of rap music. And it was just like Bone Thugs and Harmony. I remember like one of the vacations.
Wake up.
Yeah, 100%.
Of the month.
Yeah, I listened to that CD in his car.
That synth.
And then he had the subs and everything. It's just like,
Nice.
definitely got the subs. I remember his first car that he had was a black Nissan Pathfinder from the 90s. Those things are sweet. I would drive one right
Dude,
now.
yeah, if you're out rolling around, you see one around, you're like, get the fuck out
That
here.
thing is sick. So that was his first car, and he had some subs in there, and we got that thing stuck in the mud one time. And then he had this like lowered like Honda CR like.
Your cousin had 2 cars at the same time?
No, this was the next car. It was like
okay,
a Honda like car. I don't know, whatever. Honda car.
Sure. Honda
Just
car.
a short one. And it was sick.
Everybody has a Honda car.
But then anyway, so then when I came back to Kansas, I started to I was in football, I was in band, and I was in, just like all these random different things. But all my band friends I started to kind of be friends with.
What you play in band?
Cymbals.
Okay.
I mean, just it's only one note.
There you
Can't
go,
fuck
man.
it up
Yeah,
too
no,
much.
not at all.
Sometimes you get off beat, but I remember in grade school, they're just like first day of band, they like give you a thing or give you a test the next day in band. They're just like, here's the instrument we gave you. And I got saxophone. I was just like, I don't want to play the fucking saxophone. Can I play the drums? Just day one. And the teacher's just like, sure.
Why not?
Never learned how to read music.
Go
or
over there and
anything.
hit shit.
So I was in marching band. I was playing the cymbals. Well, and then
And you were going somewhere with that. So you had football, you had band,
and then so I started to become friends with these guys that were in band more. And in middle school, it's just like I had one friend who was really into like Christian rock for a while, and so we listened to POD and MXPX and stuff. They're just random Christmas Christian punk rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. I did think the X and all this. I was like, that sounds interesting.
And just like random music that like is not that, I don't know, just small stuff, And then in high school, these other guys, they were liking like the Beatles and stuff. And more of the classic stuff like Beatles and Led Zeppelin. And I just remember my one friend is Big Fish Head, Sam.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sam was my friend from middle school. And so he like,
That's so weird to me that in middle school, you not only knew who Fish was, but you had a friend that listened to him.
And like really into like Widespread Panic and stuff. And,
Wow.
And then I remember like listening to Medeski, Martin, and Wood, like maybe that was in college, but just all that kind of stuff was great. And my friends were in a band, and I was just like, I play the fucking cymbals. I can't be in your band, but I want to come to band practice and listen to you guys play. Like,
I'll sit here and make sure everything sounds good.
it was just like, I remember being in my friend's basement and we're in a room like the size of this room, and they're all hooked up to electric guitars and amps and basses and a full drum kit, and they're playing like My Guitar Gently Weeps, just full fucking
Wow.
steam ahead, and we're in a room that's like 100 square feet, and it's just like I remember hearing some of the like I remember one time my friends played Happiness is a Warm Gun, and I was just
man.
like, I've never even heard this song before. What in the fuck? This is crazy. I just remember them playing that, and I was just like, oh my God, this is insane. This is amazing. Like, I'm getting a live Beatles performance,
Right.
and it's like breaking it to me.
Man, there's only a few, but in the time that we've been neighbors, there have been a few visible pockets to me that you're in musically, and I feel like you had not that you don't listen to them anymore, but I feel like you've had you had a healthy Beatles pocket
Yeah.
in the last 5, or where you're just, that's your thing for now.
It
and
was, I feel like it happened when I found the Beatles station on Sirius.
Right, because you
And I
had
was just
you had a
like-
Dave pocket too.
Yeah. That's when I found the Dave station. And I was just like, I feel like I really get that way because, like, I don't love the radio. Tara fucking loves the radio.
Okay.
Tara listened to one song by one band. The next song, different fucking thing, different situation, different decade, whatever. I love to listen to albums. Like, I would love to listen. I was just in the hot tub with Ivy like this weekend or something. I was just like playing, I don't know, some album that was like she didn't give a shit about. She didn't want to listen to it. And she was just like, I don't, like, what? I want to listen to this other song. I'm like, we're listening to this album. And I was just like, you need to listen to the whole thing, because sometimes the songs are kind of all in the same vibe, and like they might be talking about the same time, or they're happening at the same time in the same person's life. Like, it's a cool, it makes other songs better. And I can't believe I just was randomly having this conversation with Ivy the other day, but it's just like I've liked to listen to songs like that. And so then when I was just like getting more into music, and then I would just think of a thing as like an album, not a song.
Man, I'm the same way. I've in the last handful of months, I've had a few go-to albums. I mean, I listen to other stuff for this, and when I'm driving, anyway, and I don't know how to describe it other than, like, at the time in my life when these artists kind of fluttered into my awareness, and I, for one reason or another, kind of dug in a little bit and really, and then all of a sudden they like become medicine, and it's like, I love this this current record. I sent you this record the night of the Progressive Dinner.
Oh yeah.
Kurt Weill, I think I sent it to
Oh,
Waking
yeah.
on a Pretty Day,
Yeah.
or something like that. But it's got like 14 tracks, and I like am obsessed with like 5 of them. Like, if I could do the whole thing front and love it, but I have a lot of pockets across the week where I gotta hit all of those tracks, and I feel whole again. And I usually, I just am coming off of another phase like this with another artist. I usually do it until I'll it's kind of like a gas gauge. I get down to a quarter tank, and I'm like, if I keep going, that light's gonna come on. I'm gonna burn myself out on this, and I do it anyway. Like, well, gotta get gas now. Gotta shift away from this, and
I know,
but I don't give a fuck. Like, absolutely,
I know. I feel like I think about that sometimes too. It's like I'll listen to an album or something, and then like this one song, and then I'll just like put one song on repeat. And it's just like, I mean, I feel like if my neighbors can hear my speakers in my backyard blasting out, this might get annoying to them if they're not like into this song, but I kind of want to listen to this one song like 50 times instead of like the whole album or, whatever. It's just like, and then also I listen to songs more with the sound and less with like the words. Like, if I read the lyrics to a song, like some people I guess listen to songs where they like listen to the words and they like the story, but some people listen to songs where they like the
These motherfuckers right
vibes.
here. This is merch from a YouTube reaction
Yeah.
channels store.
I was like, what does that even mean?
So that's Brad and Lex.
Yeah.
They're also a couple, and that's the hat that he wears.
Yeah.
And shout out to Brad and Lex. So that stands for, you know what I mean? Because that's what he says a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to decide for yourself whether or not this is a thing that is real in the real world that we're living in. But he only hears the lyrics.
Yeah.
And he's all, that's how you can see. I mean, if it's real, you know,
Yeah.
and not staged, and like a lot of me believes that it is.
Yeah.
Not for everybody, but on particular channels, those are the ones that.
Just hears the words.
And she, also, she's so cute. I mean, but she's just like,
Just
I mean,
listening to the vibes.
and almost all the time, if it's a song that I dig, like she also digs.
Yeah.
And when she describes it, I'm like, 100%.
Yeah.
And every time she starts describing, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
that's crazy. I didn't hear
I
any.
feel like some of my favorite songs, I don't even know anything about them.
I mean,
I don't know what the words are to any of the songs that I like. I don't. Well, I know some words to songs that I like, but I don't know what the story is.
Well,
I'm not listening to the story.
dude, I'm telling you, for as long as I've been walking and breathing with a pulse, and music has been a part of my life.
Yeah.
If I don't know the words, my brain fills it in, and I'll go like 30 years just singing at the top of my lungs, and then one day like a random thing will happen, and I'll pull up, like, I want to copy and paste these lyrics because it's a great quote.
Yeah.
And I open it up and I'm like, I've been singing that shit wrong for 3 decades.
Didn't know that.
And not like I got one syllable wrong. I got like whole verses.
You don't even know the story. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the thing. It's like I remember when there was CDs and booklets, and
Dude,
sometimes they
yeah.
had all the words
Yeah.
in there. I remember reading them sometimes, but I never like read them while I was listening to the song, like sight reading like you would music or something. I don't know the story of
Well,
any
you
song.
mentioned Led Zeppelin. I mean, I'm still a big fan, and I was a really big fan in high school, and I would sit but there are many times where like what my cassette copy of Led Zeppelin 3 didn't have the lyrics or whatever. So,
Yeah.
and that record opens with Immigrant Song, and it's like I got I got that, and then it's like come from the land of the ice and snow, and then the rest until the
Ding,
song
ding,
is
ding,
over.
ding. Yeah.
So I've got some, and I couldn't tell you what it was
Yeah.
unless you asked me while I'm singing it. But it's like I know what verse 1, verse 2, verse 3. I know what they're basically all about, and it's nope, no,
Yeah.
I do not. I
Yeah.
did not have any of those words right.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like, I guess it's because maybe I just listen to music and I listen to the vibe, not the words. I feel like that is, I mean, that's what music is. Like before there was things that had words to them, it was just the sounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Words were added afterwards. So I feel like,
Symbols.
yeah, I mean, I was percussion for a reason. I didn't take choir.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess I oftentimes, but I also love like Bob Dylan or like somebody who's or like even just rap like Eminem or something where they've or like Lil Wayne or something. Like when you listen to their music or like listen to their lyrics, I remember I was just listening to like Lil Wayne today or something. It was just like, I fucking love some of the random shit that they throw out in the middle of a song. I was like, you just let that little sentence be a random sentence in the middle of this song. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. It's hilarious.
I was doing some prep for an episode to feature Lil Wayne, and I was like, let's see what's up with this. And then
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This dude had, like fucking what, 9 records with 163 people that featured on tracks and and just like a lot of it on this particular record that I listened to was really good. And it had like it had a pocket, like if it was a 19 track record.
Yeah.
It had like tracks 7 through 15 or something were just fucking dynamite.
Yeah.
One after the other, and I was like, that
Dang.
can't be totally coincidental. Like it
Yeah.
felt like you're building up to just boom, and then you kind of like wrap it up nice. But I was so impressed.
I feel like I get introduced to or listen to like more rap music like one song at a time. I don't get introduced to an artist and like listen to a whole album. I'll just hear one of their popular songs or something on, some rap serious channel.
Well,
or
I
something.
mean, this dude that was sending me this list of records for this episode, his text messages were like there was a little jumble-y, scatterbrainy kind of, and so I was trying to, all right, let me make sure I have it right. And he realized, he's like, okay, here's the list. And when he sent me that, he said the Carter, and then he goes, oh my God, the Carter 2, huge difference, my bad. And I was like, he has multiple records named the Carter. And I mean, turns out there's like 4 of them.
Yeah.
But I was like, how funny that he wants to make sure that I know that he's talking about the Carter 2.
Yeah.
And I haven't listened to the other ones, but fucking Carter 2's got some good shit on it.
I know. I feel like every once in a while, like just recently, I forget what album I downloaded. It was like Ice-T or something ridiculous. It was from like the 90s. And I was just like, oh, dang. It was a Rick Ross album from 2012. I downloaded it because of some Andre 3000 song.
Oh, wow.
And Andre 3000 is awesome. I loved Outkast. I remember my
100%.
my cousin had Aquemini, and I was just like, I love Rosa Parks on that album. And I just remember I've listened to that like, 500 times. And I feel like that
Everybody move
that's
to the back of the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing. And then I see that I feel like is an album that has a rhythm and a lot of lyrics, but it's another thing where, like, until recently, I didn't realize the lyricist that Andre 3000 is. And I was just like, listen, it's like the rest of the album, it's like there's not even instrumental shit going on. It's just all lyrics, but I can just feel the rhythm of his lyrics, and I'm not listening even to the words, so I'm not realizing how good of a lyricist that Andre 3000 is.
Outkast, episode 2, he had he picked an Outkast album, and he picked ATLians, and I was like, while I'm in here, I need to give Aquemini a real. So I listened to both of them like 3 times. Like, this shit is fucking bananas.
Yeah,
these are 2 really good records.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Like, I don't know any. It's like, hey, what song do you like? It's like, I don't know what the fucking name of it is. I don't know what the name of albums are. I don't know what the name of any song is, practically. Riding around in my car with Sirius, where they have the names and the albums.
Right here and right here.
I'll just, like, take a picture of my screen sometimes, or, like, just Shazam all these songs just so they're, like, in a queue.
Well, I've been rolling with this Spotify playlist. I probably told you about it. It's got like 10,500 hours of music on it, and like 550 records. Just
that somebody else made or something, or
it's
you made it?
No, I didn't make it. It's the design, the creative or the design manager for Fish.
Oh yeah.
And the playlist is all of their walk up, intermission, and shows over,
all their breaks and stuff,
the house music. Which is always.
Oh, did you send that to me before?
Maybe.
Yeah.
From 2009 to current.
Dang.
And so I like that's what's playing in my Sonos all the time.
Oh yeah.
All the time. And
That's
anytime
sweet.
I hear something that sounds cool, I just add it to. I look it up. I will. Like, who the fuck is that? And I'll find it in my Apple add it to my library. And then when I go out in the world, I'm just on, unless I'm in one of those pockets where I got to listen to the same.
Yeah.
I'm on shuffle. And
Nice.
whatever it feeds me, I'm like, yep, nope,
Nice.
yep, nope. But
Yeah, I think that listening to other music where there's like this band's influences playing as well. Like on Sirius, I listen to the Dave channel a lot, and he plays other people that he listens to, and it's just, I mean, most of it's already people that I know, but sometimes it like brings up other albums that those people had that it's like, oh, you know what? I want to know who the people that I already like listen to and listen to that kind of
100%.
shit. Like you start listening to like Otis Redding and shit like that, or
Yeah.
like Muddy Waters or something. Like I love some of that. Like the other day I was listening to the complete collections of Robert Johnson, like this whole last weekend. And it's just like,
it's a heavy,
this is
heavy
sweet.
blues dive.
It was like, this is sweet. And then when you listen to like the complete collection, you're just like, damn, that is kind of crazy. And then if you think about when he was writing those songs, and it's like the 30s or something, I think, wasn't it? Like the mid 30s or something?
Or 40s. Either way, he doesn't have an 8-track.
And it's
He's
just
got to
like,
go like either like
he's got like wax records. This guy had like 40 songs.
or
and
go
then he
or
died.
go
That's it.
someplace, whether it's like at an actual venue for a legit thing or somebody's fucking porch,
Yeah.
and like take in music that way.
And the things that he made, I feel like he was playing freaking rock and roll on a steel guitar on a freaking wooden porch somewhere. It was amazing. I was just like thinking about it, and it's like, it's fine if you just think someone made it like right now. It's like, is this, Post Malone just making a tune and a little ditty in between a song? Not a big deal.
That guy's gonna be dead by the end of the week. By the way, every time I see him, I'm like, oh my god, go to bed.
I love Post Malone.
Go
too.
to bed. Drink some water. Put some broccoli in your mouth and go sleep.
Yeah,
And he's
I
just
mean,
like, nope. We're just going. I'm like,
just beer and music and cigarettes.
that tank runs out of gas eventually, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta stop to refill it.
Yeah. Oh man, but sometimes I do. I guess it's because eventually they don't have lyrics anymore. The further back you go,
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that I really like that. I like to just like hear those vibes, and then I think that's why sometimes I'll eventually get into like a club music type music or something,
going back to your roots.
like
Dun,
some
dun, dun,
yeah, I got that in 1997 Jams Ultimate Dance Party, and it's just like I don't know. I mean, literally this last weekend we were at one of Alma's best friend's house birthday party at those people's house. As soon as we walked in the front door, I was just like, this place is dead, and the reason why is they have no music playing.
Like, I don't get it at all.
And by the later in the day, later in the party, it was me and Tara just being like, you guys need to get some Sonos speakers for your house.
Wait, they didn't even have like a system?
They had nothing.
No.
They had a sound bar that was connected to their TV that also had like a Bluetooth capability that eventually the mom was just like, I connected my phone via Bluetooth to my TV sound bar and put on a YouTube music video to play a song that their kids love. And I was just like, you are so unset up
your
for
first
music.
day on planet Earth?
It's like, why would you live a life continuously that's unset up to have music in your ears? I was just like, you're living a non-vibey life right now.
Yeah, a hollow life.
It was just
Is your sister into music? Did I ask you that? You told me no.
Not really. Not. Well, I mean, now like her husband likes music too. He likes like 311.
Okay.
And,
what's your guys' age split?
3 years.
And are she and her husband basically the same age?
No, he's like my age. But so it's like I they do listen to music now a lot more. But I mean, growing up until like I got into like later into high school, and then I feel like even to as of today, like I'm not sure if my sister has like a CD collection. She didn't ever like have a CD collection. And you know what is crazy is like me and my friend Jeff Lessman, you know him.
I think so.
You know.
Yeah.
So me and my friend Jeff, we both probably had the 250 booklet CD
He was
packet thing.
the other single dude.
Yeah.
Right? On the float trip.
Yeah. And so he had music, and me and him and my buddy Josh, we all lived together. And so Jeff probably had 200 CDs. Josh had one CD. Guess what CD it was? You're not gonna guess. It was Three Dog Night.
Oh, wow.
Some Three Dog Night CD.
Okay. Interesting.
And
Was Jeremiah was a bullfrog at least on it?
Probably.
Joy,
I don't even
Joy to
remember.
the World.
I don't remember
else
what
they
even
wrote.
CD it was. I was just like, who has one CD?
Did you steal that from a party?
Why do you have one CD? And what is your life where that's the one that you have?
I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, honestly,
By a
not too
lot,
bad.
by a
Not too
lot.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty good. But weird to have one, and that's the one. And so I just remember it's like Jeff had, you know, some you know, just like every classic musical college post. You know, he had some Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and some different music posters. He had this like Led Zeppelin flag that he hung over his door and stuff. But just like musical dude, you know, and we talked and listened to music, and we'd play music together in college. And I just feel like it's weird when some people don't. But yeah, I mean, growing up, like there wasn't a music collection around in my life, but I liked music, you know.
Well, it's funny that you just told that story about the people hosting the party and how they need to have a Sonos, because my next note is your outdoor Sonos is like medicine to me.
Yeah.
I literally love, I can't hear it all the time, but every once in a while, like if it's a nice day on a Saturday, or maybe you have people over on a Friday, whatever, every once in a while I'll hear it from inside the house.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it.
Nice.
I'm not like everywhere. Like I have to be, you know.
I guess you got that if that door's open or something.
That's well, it has to be real nice. Yeah, but I mean more, I guess. Yeah, if it's nice out for sure. But if it's not, and everything's closed up, like I could be, you know, maybe I'm getting in the shower or coming out or whatever in my room.
Yeah.
Or you know, maybe I've printed something off and I go into the living room to pull it. I get like a little, you know.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that I live next to somebody that has music playing, and it's not a secret. Like it's not all indoors.
Yeah.
Like I love the fact that, I mean, obviously it helps that you guys love being outdoors and having it, but it just, I mean, because if we had like wildly differing tastes, I could be telling a totally different story.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
But
a
most
lot.
of the time, you know, if our tastes were wildly different, I would probably still love it if the volume was like managed at an agreeable
like
level,
a regular level.
But since there's so much overlap and similarity, anyway. So and then it's like an extra thing if I'm hanging out with you in your outdoor space, or if we're hanging out in your kitchen. And then I'm like inside of it, so it's like this weird two-horned thing of like I literally joy.
Sometimes inside, sometimes outside.
And it's been a long time, but every once in a while I used to step out on the other side porch.
Oh yeah,
and Heirloom would have like, you know, like Neil Young Harvest.
Oh yeah,
on like 1.5.
Yeah.
So you're like, I think Yeah, that's nearly
good.
yeah. Or I've heard some other things.
Yeah.
So I love that, but and it's a different animal for them. They're in the bakery world, so like the day starts at 4.
Oh yeah, their timeline
and
is different.
They had their baby.
Yeah.
So I feel like their firstborn's bedtime is like 7.
Yeah.
So it's got
It's
to
like
be
4:30 p.m. and it's like kind of the end of the day.
Yeah, man.
I'm just like, I might work for another 7 hours.
I mean, that dude, like, he comes ripping into that driveway, and then, like, I feel like you see him go through the front door with his backpack, and directly out the back door without the backpack and coals.
Just grilling. Smoke's coming our way, and I'm also always just like, God, why I'm not eating grilled shit? Why not? Looks good.
Either way,
Smells
like
good.
they're doing their thing, you're doing your and
Yeah.
it's like I feel like I would feel just a little bit creeped out if I had next door neighbors that zero music. Just no. I would be like, where are you hiding the dead bodies? Because that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's really fun, and so you guys met, you and Tara met. How? I know I've been told
her friend from high school went to college with me and was friends with my girlfriend in college, and then
That's right.
I became friends with her. And then when I graduated, it was Tara's friend's like last birthday party I probably would have gone to, like someone I graduated with a couple of years ago and was kind of friends with them. Probably not gonna just go to a random birthday party of them. So I go to that birthday party and Tara's there. And we had met before, but she was in a relationship and I was in a relationship. And then eventually at this birthday party, we were both single and we were both just the same kind of crazy. And we hit it off pretty well right away. I knew her a little bit and liked her, thought she was cool enough. And then at this point in time, we were both single and we just... we're partying hard together and had a good time the first day.
So no hearts were broken out of the birth of your relationship?
No, it was just like the last moment of possibility probably of us just like running into each other, and we just hit it off great.
I feel like should we pause again real quick?
Yeah.
Do you need to refresh? Yeah. Are you going to go back again?
No, I'm not going back.
You're not going back?
Can't.
Okay. So you'll get something here.
Yep.
And use the bathroom.
Yep.
What you got? Okay.
Tara said I should try to wrap it up. Did we start?
We're getting there. Love you, Tara. Okay, so one of my notes was to ask you to sort of describe from that classified ad to Cicada, but I think we kind of have the gist of it. But I did want you to touch on, you can't turn that into a house just for a sec. How that came to be and what it was, and if it's out there, can you still find it?
Yeah, I mean, so the guy I was working with was a cool dude, and
was this Blue Earth?
It was Footprint Construction.
Okay, who was Blue?
That was Jason.
But was that your gig or Tara's gig?
That was me.
Okay,
me and Jason, just two Jasons. They're brother-in-laws. And so we were using like all this old reclaimed wood, and we were, using old windows and just doing kind of unique stuff. And a guy that I went to college with, and he played Ultimate, and everybody was, doing all that. And so we kind of got to know each other over the summer because he was like a coach and I was just like a kid drinking beer on the sideline, not playing, but going with all my friends. So we were talking. He's just like, yeah, I have some buddies who have some land. They want to like build a treehouse out there or something. And I'm like, I'll build a fucking treehouse. Let's go. That's cool.
I'll build you too.
Like that. Yeah. I don't want to build a regular house, but a treehouse, that'd be cool.
I'll build you a treehouse with a treehouse in it.
Yeah. And so I guess eventually they built this treehouse like way high up in the tree, but it was just like a platform, like the size of, like 10 by 10. just hanging in a tree. And they're just like, you know, it was way off the ground. And they're just like, this is like kind of scary. Also, it's like 2 hours away from here. So it wasn't like close to here. And like, you know, I'll just drive 2 hours and then go hang out in the woods and mess around all day and then sleep on a platform 40 feet off the ground and drive home the next day. You know, it was 2-lane back roads. And so it's just like, it's not a good day. You're not like going there, working out in the field all day, messing around, and then sleeping in a tent just with no amenities, no water, not a campsite, not a place where it's nice. Just like nothing. And then driving back the next day, like, oh, hell yeah, good little weekend. It's like there's nothing there to like help you have a good time.
Right.
And so they're like, we need more than that. And they wanted to build a shipping container house out there. And I was like, sure. I mean, whatever. But then they're just like, well, we have this grain bin that's here. And I was like, okay. I mean, we could probably build something out of that. And so they're like, well, you want to come up there with us one time and check it out and see what you think? And so my buddy and the guy who we ended up doing the show with, they were like childhood best friends. So he's just like, my buddy can do it. Like, let's go up there. We checked it out. And like the first time I'd ever met these guys, and the first time we ever went up there, there's a big auger in the grain bin. And I was just like, this grain bin's perfect. Let's use, this is a great place.
What year is this?
This is like
17, 18?
I don't know. No, this is probably like 2010.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. 2000. Yeah, probably 9, 10. And so we like, I was like, this is sweet. Let's build a house in this. We can do it. No problem. And there's this giant auger, and they're just like, we got this thing in here. I was just like,
is an auger like a drill bit kind of thing?
Like, there's basically like an engine at the top, and it was 16 feet off the ground, and there's a steel spiral auger going from the engine down to the ground.
That's what I'm picturing, a massive drill bit.
Yeah, from the machine to the side to spin it around in a circle. And
Yeah.
To push all the grain down. And I was just like, let's get this out of here so we can like figure out what we're doing. And so they're like, I mean, what do we can't do that. What are we supposed to do? I was like, just rip this auger off to the side, put the thing out the little little man door, and then we'll tie a rope through this top hatch and then tie it down to the bumper of a car out here in this field and lower this thing down. And we got the auger out. And that was the first time I ever met those guys. And they're just like, this guy's fucking crazy. I'm just like, what? We even want to get this motor out of here to see what it's like,
They
right?
probably went from this guy's crazy to like, this guy's crazy, but also that worked.
Yeah, we got it out. Nobody died. Nobody fucking died. It's all good.
Nobody even lost a limb.
Yeah, everybody's fine. It was crazy. Could we have died? Sure, but we did it. And so then there's a barn on their property that had all this big old timber and all these boards and logs and metal from the roof and stone from the foundation, and it had just gotten blown over in a tornado. And I was just like, dude, that's sweet. There's all this big timber here, and it's all got this metal, and it's got this stone. We can just use this barn to tear this barn apart and build into this cabin, because that's what we were already doing. And our daily job is taking apart barns and turning them into houses, which was a crazy thing that we were doing at that point in time. Now, reclaimed wood is like such a big old freaking deal. We were doing this in 2004, and people were like, are you gonna like put carpet over this wood floor? What is wrong with this wood floor? It's like, no, this wood floor is 250 years old. Like, this is the floor. You're probably not gonna buy this house. But so we've been working with this old wood. We know how to do it. We know what it's gonna look like. We can look at a pile of twisted barn metal and wood and be like, this is beautiful. So it was such a great
one man's trash
scenario for all of us to get together. We made this cabin. And then I had followed this blog called Cabin Porn.
Did a coffee table book come out of that?
So I was just following this blog. It was like, what's that program that got shut down? The website that got shut down that like was sort of like Pinterest.
Jesus.
People
Yeah.
had all the cool pictures on there. I don't know.
Yeah.
The blog picture website, whatever the hell that was called. And they had a thing where they're just like, we're going to make a book and we want to put some cabins in there, like submit a thing on this random weird blog that just posted pictures of cabins. And I was just like, yo, I built this like Airstream cabin. I would love to be in that book. And here's some pictures of it. And I submitted it and then nothing. And nothing for like probably 6 months. And, you know, I thought it was like a business or something. I don't know what I was submitting to. It was a cool website. Well, turns out it was a website for the guy who...
Tumblr?
Is that what it's called, maybe?
Yeah, like TUMBLR.
Maybe it was Tumblr.
Anyway.
But the guy who is now the creative director, like chief editor and staff of Dwell Magazine, was creating this blog at that point in time because he owns some land in upstate New York. And he's like, I want to build a cabin on this land. I'm going to create a Tumblr with cool pictures of cool cabins. And then they created this book because he's just like, wow, I actually have a lot of cool cabins in this Tumblr. I'm going to make a book. And he's like a big go-getter entrepreneur guy. And so he made this thing. A lot of time went by. Turns out it was just a Tumblr that he just made for himself. He had no staff, no nothing. So he got so inundated with all these things that...
Like people sending him stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
And so he hired this like editor, copywriter guy, was just like, wow, I put this post out there just thinking I would get 10 things. I got like 100,000 freaking submissions. And this guy said he was just like scrolling as fast as he could through like everything and just like clicking on something.
Nuh-uh.
And then
Random?
he did that like for like 5 months or something because there was just like 100,000 submissions or something.
Get the fuck out of here.
And eventually he contacted me like 6 months after I put this thing in on a random weird Tumblr website. And he's like, yeah, you want to be in this magazine? I was like, yeah. And so then him and this like photographer who's now like a really amazing photographer, famous guy, taking amazing, beautiful pictures, came out to the cabin, interviewed me and the two brothers, and took professional photography of this thing. And then it's in this printed book that you can just go to Barnes & Noble and buy right now. And it's one of the feature cabins of a main chapter.
If I went today and I turned to your page, are you credited?
Yeah, my whole fucking face is like an entire page in that book.
Nice. I know I've seen it, but it's many brain cells ago that I looked at that. And
so then I was in that magazine, or in that book with that cabin. And then, like, I don't know, a year or two goes by, and then this production company, I guess, contacts the brothers because, you know, they're brothers, and it's like, this is cool. And they are brothers. That's great for TV. So they contact them, and they're just like, we want to do a show about this. Well, neither of the brothers, like, are in construction and do what I do or design or anything. One was in, like, copywriting, wildlife conservation, and the other one makes clothes. So they don't build stuff. So they're just like, well, we did this actually with my friend. And that was me. And so the production company was just like, well, we got to really build these things. Like, who's going to design it? Who's going to build it?
Right.
And they're like, Kyle will design it. Kyle will build it. So then we did this whole show. It was 14 episodes. We did a pilot, and it was insane. It was the most insane situation ever. I got paid like $1,000, and we built an entire cabin. It was raining its ass off 100% of the time. We built the whole thing.
Did you guys?
In like
was
4
there
days?
Dialogue in the episode about the rain? I feel like that sounds
like
familiar.
The whole thing was about rain. It was lightning, and there was a tornado warning in the middle of the thing, and it's just like we're welding on a metal tank, and it's just electrocuting the shit out of everybody. And I'm just like, we gotta keep going.
Don't tell OSHA.
Thankfully, it was just me and a bunch of farmers
Right.
and the two brothers. And so the farmers are like, I don't give a fuck. I'll keep going. So we did this whole cabin. We built it in 4 days. It was insane. It was so insane.
And you lived here when this happened, right?
Yeah. And I had a full-time job with
'cause
another
I feel like,
contractor.
You know, I know it's probably it's creepy on some level.
Yeah.
I don't mean for it to be, but because you guys are driveway parkers.
Yeah.
I don't like seek out, but I just
Yeah.
happen to. It's weird that I can be so aware of whose car's home and whose, but I can't. I could totally
Yeah.
miss the wildflowers being gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Most people on this block, we've talked about this. Like if I pull out of my driveway and drive towards Oak,
Don't know.
I don't see anything. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at the street, and I don't want to hit cars on either side. And people will be like, "Did you see that house they put in a new?" And I'm like,
I don't know.
"What house? Are there houses down there?" You know.
There's
Anyway,
a house on the left and right.
but I
That's it.
definitely remember like seeing you guys outside and her being like, "Kyle's gonna do this," and then like your car was gone for swaths of time.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, he's doing a fucking
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. And it was just like we did the pilot episode in 4 days. I had to take off of work, and then we finished at like midnight or something. And then I had to go to work the next day, and I'm 2 hours north of here. Haven't slept in like 72 hours. And so then I drive back here and like wake up and go to work. And I just told them like I took a couple of days off to like do something else.
family shit, man.
Meanwhile, I'm working 24 hours a day, and they're just like, I'm not telling these people I'm filming a TV show. And then nothing happened for like a year and all this random other BS. And eventually we figured out a show, and we did a show, and we did like 13 other episodes. The pilot counted as one of the 14 episodes. We did 4 around Austin and 10 around Kansas City.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about those details.
It was crazy.
So it's called,
It was called You Can't Turn That Into a House.
and it first aired on
First on FYI, which is a part of the A&E
yeah,
network.
and then somebody else.
And then they bought it to A&E network was
A&E,
bought by HGTV, and then they re-edited it a year or two later, and it was on HGTV.
That's right.
But then they mostly just cut most of my things out of there because they were trying to make it a brother show.
Really?
But it didn't do anything, and the brothers didn't want to do the show, so it didn't do nothing.
Oh, wow. But I mean, so can you find it right now? Is it still?
Yeah, I think it's still on Apple iTunes or something. You can
really
just Google
like the way
you can
that
turn that into a house.
the way that it originally aired.
Yeah, I think you
cool.
can like buy a season
Cool.
of it. And so it was great, but also, building a little cabin out of random stuff doesn't come cheap, and we got 0 real inquiries from anywhere in America that it was ever broadcast.
What? Really?
Yeah, no one ever reached out. No, 0 people were just like, "Hey, I got $150,000. Can you build me a cabin?" We did get a few people that it's like, "I got $8,000. Can I get a cabin?" It's like, you can't get yourself a cabin if you do all the work for $8,000.
Right. So but were there ever any royalties from views?
There wasn't, but I got paid to do the show.
Okay,
And
and that was
so
just a flat
that-
fee, or
With that amount of money, yeah, it was just a flat fixed
Okay.
fee. Like, I think they multiplied it by like episodes or something, but it was just a flat amount. And
that's our Kyle Davis budget right there.
Yeah.
Next line item.
yeah, and we just got like a lawyer. We didn't get like a talent agent who could really negotiate some shit for us, because the brothers had a person that they knew that negotiated some
They
talent
did?
people stuff before.
They did,
Yeah.
and they didn't tell you to do the same
No,
thing.
we all use the same guy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But it's like we didn't hire them as like a person for us. They were negotiating that deal. They weren't like our guy for the whole situation, trying to make more money off of us
Sure.
if we made more money. Which it's like, now it's like, I want a guy who's going to make more money if I make more money, because I want him to try to get me to do more, like get more stuff.
I mean, it goes
But-
back to like not having to babysit the people in your operation. Like they're all just doing their jobs.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like nobody was on our side. They just did the deal and whatever. But
But it was still cool, right?
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And I mean, like at that point in time, we had 1 child. And so it's like, all right, we got like a little bit of money that will last us like a couple months. And let's like start our own business together, me and Tara. And so then we just started it. It's like we had
Wait,
like
wait. So
$10,000.
is that the storyline that you can't turn this into a house gave birth to Cicada Co?
Yeah, because I made more money than I made a year's salary in like 3 months.
What? Really?
In 4 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's just like, well, I can try to make something happen for the rest of the year. And we did like next to nothing, but we also didn't have any. We only had one child at that point in time, and
Sure.
eventually we just randomly did. Okay, we did one job, and then we signed a contract for another job. The second job we signed a contract for was like over $1 million.
Jesus.
And so
Seems like a huge leap.
seems a little
in
crazy,
infancy.
a little crazy. But me and Tara just like, yeah. Well, I mean, why the hell not?
Of course.
I'm doing
Of course.
it. It's like if it's 100, 1,000, a million.
It doesn't
we'll
look
do
like
it.
I'm sweating bullets, does I?
Yeah.
While I talk to you at this meeting.
No, we're just like, okay, perfect. That's
Well,
what we want.
so my mom, whatever, man. When her second marriage ended, we were in Atlanta. We came back. She eventually bought a house in Prairie Village, which is like I was talking about this yesterday at camp. Like how weird the look of mid to late 80s Prairie Village is versus today. Because like when my mom bought her place, it was small and it was simple, but it looked new. There was a lot of just fucking beat up and badgered home. Nothing falling apart or like alarm, but everything just kind of looked old.
She was the beginning of the new wave.
Sort of. And
Yeah.
now you drive through Prairie Village and I'm like, what town is this? Because everybody's just like, and then
Huge.
just crazy. It's
Yeah.
so great. Like intersections look different in certain areas.
Yeah.
Where it's just like that, like whole swaths of land are like either now empty or now full of stuff. And it's just like, this is so weird to me. But anyway, so we had whatever, she bought this house. We had these two neighbors. They were raising families. Eventually these guys moved south and then these guys moved somewhere else too. And then, I feel like there was I feel like this construction company that had Lion Construction, something like that in the name. Like the son of the owner of that moved in with like a newish wife, and they bought this house that was kind of catty corner that was like the creepy house on the block.
Nice.
I mean, like I was like knocking on doors to shovel snow. You know, I'm in like 6th or 7th grade, and they're like, yeah. Like they opened it like this much.
Yeah.
And they're like, and just barely enough to get the $10 bill through or whatever. And I went out, and there was like a Volkswagen Beetle in the driveway that just never moved up against the garage.
Tarp on it.
Well, no, it's just sitting. It looks fine. It's just sitting there like a Volkswagen Beetle does, just weathering decades and
just rusting.
No, and just looking okay.
Yeah.
It's not getting out on the road where they're putting salt down. So it's just
sitting
it's
there.
light blue, so it's just kind of fading, but it's not.
Yeah.
All it needs is a little. Anyway, so I'm not shoveling that portion because it's up against the garage.
Yeah.
I'm just shoveling, and I get like halfway down the middle, and there's a fucking spare tire just in the middle of the driveway, and I'm like,
jeez.
And then like I don't know how it happened, but they sold, and this that company they bought it or whatever. So they went in and did what you did, and they said that like curtains like
just falling,
like paper mache, just and like the toilet bowls were just like so stained that it was like beyond. And then they did some kind of excavation-y landscape in the yard, and there was just like fucking dead dogs buried everywhere. And I mean, it was anyway.
There was some tombstones in our yard.
No. They were like they had earth movers, and they were trying to like
digging up dogs.
Yeah, like
Shit.
dude. It was weird. Anyway, so they fucking stripped it and flipped it. And when it was finished, I mean, for forever, it just looks like like
a raccoon lives there.
Well, to like a 12 or 13-year-old, while the thing is happening, it just I literally, it looks like construction.
Yeah.
You can't see what's happening. And then all of a sudden it's done and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't unsee what was and now what is. Like, that is fucking. And then at some point we got to go in and it was like,
This is nice.
whoa. So anyway, so that happened. And then the people here, I think the dad bought the house for his son and his new wife, and they had a baby and a dog, and he had some kind of, he wasn't in an office.
Yeah.
He was going out and he was humping it for this construction company of his father's. But next door is single mom with 2 young kids. And so everything imaginable, like, I opened the pantry and I got a splinter. Can you come look at my cabinets? Because it's a fix-it guy living next door. So and eventually
Eventually they're married.
Who? My mom and this kid? No,
The fix-it guy.
no. The fix-it guy is newly married
Oh.
and has a baby. They just move in next door to my mom,
Oh.
and so he's fix-it. He's construction fix-it guy. So my mom, who never has any help or resources, is always like, "Can you know?" And for a while, he was like, good neighbor hat, and then it was like, so in that house it's like 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and a living, a dining, and the family room. And this was the token PV layout. Family room used to be a screened-in porch.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that, but it's chilly in there because nobody thought to insulate it. And then upstairs is master, full bath, and then like attic that's walk through a door
And a
at,
doorway.
not up. It's
Sideways.
So that was always like where we kept our suitcases, and she had like a fucking wardrobe bag that was covered because of insect whatever. So she starts like, I'll pay you if you want to turn that into, make it normal, kind of thing. But like now he's been there for like a couple years, and their baby is an infant, and the wife is like, stop fucking answering her, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But eventually, he actually, I don't know if he did it or he just like sent a guy, hey man, go fucking frame
Fix
this
up
out.
this whole attic.
So, and then while that was happening, there was a very clear trajectory of like, it's so nice of Rob to help mom out. He's so nice. And then you like reach a point where you're like, how about you stop hitting Rob up for stuff?
Yeah.
And then it reaches the like, I'm trying to get Rob to do my attic, and I'm like, fuck. Oh, no. And then he's like, okay, and I know because he's a fish head, like, so.
Really?
Talked. Well, she hasn't lived there for a while, but we would talk about shows, and I would kind of get updates from their side of the fence, kind of thing, and I'd just be like, if you need me to like tell her to behave a different way, or if I need to give you some money, like, let's not make this awkward. But I remember, so he's gonna do it, and I think he's either doing it himself or he's sending a guy in little pockets of time that aren't dedicated to the real life work, right? And those are especially when you have your
times
first,
when you're already tired,
when your first shot, and I remember her being like, it's taken forever. I'm like, you shut the fuck up, shut up.
Yeah.
So anyway, I say all that to say, I am like, those memories are burned in there, and I definitely don't want to be my mom next door neighbor to you. Like, but you've helped me out with some stuff, just random. I mean, but you've helped with this a lot. You helped me haul shelves out of the basement to put on the curb, like 5 of them.
Yeah.
You helped me move that fucking couch like a handful of times.
I mean,
you helped me.
I know there's a cinder block under one of those legs.
By the lamp. It's by the lamp. You helped me basically like brainstorm the support for this table. You're sitting in the chair right now doing an episode. You gave me camera shelf suggestions.
Nice.
You listened to me ramble on about whatever.
For sure.
So thank you.
Yeah.
So we like whenever this was like, oh, this is a thing. Do you want to do? You're like In Rainbows, Radiohead, and I'm like, wait, who are you?
Yeah.
What? Beatles, Dave Matthews, what?
Yeah.
Like, and that's like I don't think that I knew that you had like a lot of Radiohead bandwidth in your head, but also I was somebody who was aware of Pablo Honey and aware of the Bends, and then OK Computer like kind of sort of changed my life.
Yeah.
And so I was like, now this is my thing. And then Kid A came out, and I was like, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
That is way too. And then somebody's like, no. Go to like the next step is the Tom York or Eraser or something solo and I went,
Yeah.
and the same thing. It felt like Kid A, and I was like, I don't. So I
crazy.
totally fell off.
Yeah.
So when you're like In Rainbows, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know what it was gonna feel like to like get in that pool.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot to say about the first couple tracks. They're a little aggressive and bananas, but
Yeah, I feel like it. I was listening to it the other day and thinking about like what is the vibe of what I feel like I listen to more than anything else. And at the beginning, it is a couple of more aggressive things. I'm just like, am I aggressive? Why? This is kind of aggressive. And then after the first couple,
have you
tracks,
ever seen The Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
Anthony Michael Hall. He puts the pen cap.
Oh yeah.
On his lip, and it's pushing. And the assignment is for them to write an essay about who they are. And he's like, "Who are you? Who are you?" Am I aggressive?
Yeah. I remember like this literally was like a week or two ago, and I was just like, man, I didn't realize like I was trying to think about like I feel like I listened to it without thinking about it like 100 times in a row. And I was just like, let me think about what I'm listening to. And I was just like, man, this is kind of intense. And then after like the first couple songs, then it's like
track
really
3
goes down.
Nude.
And I was just like, okay, now I'm fucking chilling. But also, I'm not dead, so I need some energy. And then I'm like, nice, okay, this is kind of good.
It's that song is haunting and gorgeous and like kind of makes you want to make sure the coast is clear. Like,
yeah,
I mean, especially after those first 2 tracks where you're like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's one of a couple tracks where I feel like 5 or 6 times I've either been in your driveway or in your kitchen or on your back deck and been like, wait, what is this? Is this Radiohead? And you're like, yeah. In Rainbows.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know that. And then I ask you about this, and you're like, oh, I would do In Rainbows. And then like several more times I'm over your house, and I'm like, what is it? And you're like, In Rainbows.
Rainbows.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, it sort of made me realize that I guess I actually listen to that album all the time more than other things because I don't know. I feel like it's also not that much about the words. I mean, it's more about the rhythm and all that stuff.
Dude, okay, I'm trying to move fast for the sake of for both of our sake. So this is their 7th record. I was like, what? Okay, so they did, like I said, Pablo Honey 93, Benz in 2 years later. OK Computer was 97, then Kid A, then Amnesiac, then Hail to the Thief, and then this one, and then 2 since.
Yeah,
and I think the last one was 16, so it's been 6 years since they put out a record.
Yeah.
So are you super familiar with the whole discography, or?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I listened to all of it. Like, I mean, I was listening to like Kid A and OK Computer and Amnesiac the other day, all those, and I was just like, man, this is sick. Like, that's my
Kid A and
jam.
Amnesiac are
amazing.
Amazing. It was a long time ago. I got to revisit, I guess.
I mean, I just was thinking about just the music and how it's just like, I don't listen to music for the words again, but also it's just like the sounds that I'm hearing right here can't be relayed by words.
Dude.
It's not like I've never read a poem in my life, but I just can't feel that way from words. Like the vibes that come out of those songs, it's just like, this is sick. I feel like you can think about what someone was thinking more by hearing the sounds that they make than by listening to the words that they say.
Man, so like, all right, so if Radiohead is up here, and they're not up here because there's a value assigned to them, but they're up here for me because my knowledge and my experience with them is down here.
Yeah.
So I have what I have, but to like be an expert,
Yeah.
I got to take the elevator up a bunch of floors to get there, and it's like the slowest elevator in the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much to unpack with them, just generally speaking. But I'm making my way through this record, and the fourth track is Weird Fishes / Arpeggi.
Yeah.
So it comes after Nude, and it's just over 5 minutes long, but it feels like 13 and a quarter minutes.
Yeah.
And it's all of it is like this kind of wonderful, none of it's like, when is this going to end? It's this whole kind of like journey that I didn't even realize I was on.
Yeah.
And I was like, how long has it been? And I went, and it's like, we're 4:45 in.
Yeah. I feel like I do often find myself looking like, what song am I listening to right now? And I look at like whatever song I'm listening to, but then also like, how long has it been and how much longer do I have in the song?
It's a fascinating
whenever I
thing.
check out what song I'm listening to. And it's always like, oh man, it's been going on for like 2.5 minutes. I wonder how early in the song I realized I like this song. Because it's already been going on for 2.5 minutes.
I get about 3 questions into that whole thing, and then I just like got to start over.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah,
I
it's
can
like,
be like,
there's
oh,
like 6 minutes left. Well, it's just like, I want to start the song over.
Here's where I started paying attention. I was checked
Yeah.
out for the first minute 13.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like whenever I find myself checking out, like, wait a second, what am I listening to? How much time is left? If I am thinking about that when I'm checking a song, I'm starting the song over.
It's something is saying, hey man, fucking focus.
I already like it
This
right
is good
now.
shit.
Let me start over.
So this was, I mean, the record before this one was the end of their whatever contract with their label.
Yeah.
Are you getting lit up?
She says it's almost been 3 hours. This is a very annoying amount of time. Has it been 3 hours? Well, what are you gonna do? It's already been 3 hours. That's fine.
We're close. We're
Yeah.
close. I'm not doing it to.
That's fine.
Okay, so 6 records before this, they're the end of their contract with their label that put out their first 6 records.
Yeah.
And
They put out in Rainbows for free.
pay as you want.
Yeah, pay as you
download.
want. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I remember that.
does
and
it
was just
get
like,
any cooler than that? I
shit.
didn't know that shit.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, I remember that like news, and I was just like, how much do you have to pay?
Also, by the way, Tara clearly has never been to the fucking website or the YouTube page because this is kind of how long
it takes.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. But anyway,
Nice.
do you know what this is?
Is that what they made it on?
It's an instrument. They use regular instruments, and that one is called an Ondes Martenot, and it's like a theremin,
Oh yeah.
which
Oh,
fishes
where you
use.
like
So
your hand movement.
the theremin
between
is an
things?
electronic musical instrument controlled without physical contact.
Yeah.
2 antennae which sense hand positioning, and they control frequency with one and volume with the other.
Yeah.
The Ondus Martinat is played with a metal ring on your finger, and you slide it along wires which create oscillations in vacuum tubes.
Oh shit! Nice. See, you know who else I fucking love? Willie Nelson and his fucking steel slide
There
guitar.
you go. So they use that and regular instruments, plus electronic instruments, strings and piano, which feels like a sort of Kyle Davis parallel, i.e., I've got all the regular tools and good versions of them,
Yeah.
not some shitty fucking Kmart stuff. And then the space age shit, too, that would blow a regular contractor's mind. And so you have all the shit and you're good with it all. Like, you know, I feel like you're the kind of somebody be like, my cabinets. And you could be like, what do you think about this? And they'd be like, I didn't even know I could do that.
Well, and then do you know they made the House of Cards music video from that album on like a 3D
Wait, the TV show with Kevin Spacey?
No, they made a music video to that.
Oh,
song.
the House of Cards track. The House of Cards, which is like the 9 or 10.
And they made the music video with this like early level like 3D environment scanning thing. So like if you watch a music video, it's like a 3D scan of their environment with this early like 3D scanning tool.
Weird. So All I Need, also really gorgeous, kind of spiritually uplifting, which in my experience isn't typically the case with Radiohead.
Yeah.
Being somebody that checked out after OK Computer, a lot of fucking
Like
down,
technology's ruining the world.
Well, just like emotionally,
Yeah.
down, kind of like, you know, yes, from OK Computer, but I mean, even Pablo Honey,
Yeah.
Creep, just
Yeah.
put him on the map. Like it's a fucking sad song. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those weird things where by you I mean me, you love Creep because you can like sort of relate to the narrator of the story.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot of
Like
sad.
depressive.
Yeah, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
I'm a loser. I'm a weirdo. You
Yeah.
know, and I mean, not to mention, like, you know, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but just to kind of come in with that, you know, and then, you know,
Yeah.
before the refrain, and then all of a sudden he busts out like he's hitting the highest
Singing
of the high
hard.
notes, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And like he never runs out of air. Anyway.
I know.
Reckoner was After All I Need. Love this track. Definitely heard that one at your place. House
Yeah.
of Cards, kind of old school, feelings packed, and a simple number. And the wiki called this album less political and more personal than previous, which I think holds true, especially with House of
Yeah.
Cards. Like it feels like a person and not necessarily an observation or a criticism of society and technology and all that. You know what I'm saying? Does
Yeah,
that make
yeah.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
So then a Tom York quote, I believe in the rock album as an artistic form of expression. In Rainbows is a conscious return to this form of 45-minute statement. Our aim was to describe in 45 minutes as coherently and conclusively as possible what moves us. Which, I mean...
Yeah, I feel like they made that and they were just like, making this for me.
Dude.
And I'm giving it out for however much you think you need it to be for you.
Yeah, man. I had a former K-State football player that actually ended up winning the Super Bowl do an episode. And one of the lines he shared in his episode was Marilyn Manson. Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
Took a record to David Geffen. Is that the right? David Geffen of
Yeah.
Geffen. And it was like, sorry, I had to make this record. It's not gonna, you're not gonna sell fucking one copy, but I had to make it, and I'm turning it in.
Yeah.
But I've talked about the concept of an album on here a bunch, and whether or not it's dying a slow death, because it seems like a lot of folks believe and can cite evidence to suggest that a lot of artists are just dropping tracks now.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was a thing for a minute and now it's not. I don't know. But
I feel like I hope and think that it is fading more towards albums now than tracks.
Well, I mean, albums was certainly the way to go, 60s and 70s, the only way to go, really. And then, I mean, maybe the 80s kind of gave birth to this idea of
Like a hit track,
hit
single.
singles. I mean, Zappa used to say, but it's not a hit single with a bullet in the charts,
Yeah.
like making fun. Anyway, I've wavered over the years, and perhaps on a per album basis with Radiohead on how to measure their accessibility as an art, sort of like this. I think what I think about Amnesiac and Kid A, but when I visited them was a long time ago, and when people have said Wilco and My Morning Jacket, and I listen to those records and I look up a little bit about them, there's constant references to we might have the next Radiohead. Or I saw on one My Morning Jacket thing, I guess a lot of people have drawn Wilco comparisons to Radiohead. One person said America might finally have its Radiohead, and it's not Wilco. And they were referencing My Morning Jacket. I'm like, is that what everybody's waking up like striving to be the next Radiohead? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think a lot about like how since I've just thought about and like more of their music and know a lot more of their songs than what might be played to some random person. It's like I could see how they couldn't fill Arrowhead Stadium right now, because how could I
Radiohead?
think they could now because of the older things, but like with new people that are just
They
went on
have
a tour,
before, right?
Yeah, well, I went to their show at the Sprint Center when they played in Kansas City.
How long ago?
Me and Tara went. I don't know. I don't even remember.
Did you live here?
No.
Okay.
It was,
okay.
Yeah, it was probably, I don't know. Maybe it was like 10 years ago. I don't know if we were even married.
And
it was awesome. I mean, it was great. It was awesome.
Would she agree if she were sitting here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she remembers the show. But it's also like if I was just listening to the radio and a Radiohead song came on, one of 50 songs I'm listening to when I'm driving down the road, and I didn't know anything about Radiohead, I'm probably not like thinking about it and like getting more into it. Also, I don't know what it would be played in context with.
Nothing.
So like they're not getting, like, if you don't know about them,
right,
you're not getting into them very easily.
So they obviously, to me, they always have a massive fan base, but I suspect that music fans, in a general swath, like across at least our country, I'm not going to say the world, I don't know that a lot of them would like sit down and plug in and like give a record a listen, because I don't think they would get it. I don't think it's accessible like a Creedence track or some old Bon Jovi hit.
Yeah, you're not listening to a short time frame of them and like just like getting into. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's also like, well, I don't know. I mean, I know all their music, so I listen to one song and I'm just like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So I don't know how it is for someone who might not know what they sound like.
So this, I think, kind of comes down to whether I'm aware of it before these words came out of my mouth or not. I don't know, but your girls, one way or the other, in my mind, are going to grow up with some kind of, they're not going to be those people with the sound bar trying to YouTube.
Yeah.
They're going to have a relationship with music.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's maybe, I mean, obviously keeping them alive and giving them advice and putting vegetables in their mouth, but that might be like the biggest box to check as far as like,
I've been thinking about how happy I am that they are like little dancers. Like Winnie, who just turned 1, just took her first steps 30 minutes ago when I was sitting here. But even our babysitter is just like, she likes to dance, It's like
shaking
she's
her
just
little booty.
over at their house and some like cartoon comes on, but the cartoon has music in the background, and she's like dancing
Love
over
it.
by the chair.
So
And it's great.
So let's assume that I'm right, that they'll all kind of have whatever. They're three very different girls,
Yeah.
and they. So, will you silently steer, or will you just fucking let it
I mean,
go the way it's gonna
I feel
go?
like I'm trying to do that right now. Like,
Even if you're not 100% aware of it.
yeah, I mean, I'm not just like they say some stupid cartoon music and like playing it. Like, I'm playing. Well, I mean, this last weekend, everybody was home. We're all locked in the house. We're all inside doing something all day. And over the last like couple weeks, I played like all the Robert Johnson
Oh yeah,
recordings,
yeah.
and then the last couple weeks, I've been playing all like Bob Marley and the Wailers, and I've figured out that Ivy loves Buffalo Soldier. Like that's one of her favorite songs.
Are you playing from Studio Bob albums, or are you rolling off a Legend
Just
or a streaming
random
Okay,
stuff.
okay,
Yeah, just like a mixtape.
dude. That man's discography doesn't have a fucking bad track in it.
Oh man,
And so
that's why I feel like for like 3 weekends in a row, I just played it like a mixed playlist or whatever of just.
I've
all
got
of his
them all
musics.
in there on cassette. If you need to borrow
Nice.
those, but I believe "Burnin'"
Yeah.
is actually the Wailers. You know, it doesn't specifically say Bob.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them do, and they all have that like super cool like Jamaican flag colored
Yeah.
logo for whatever label it was. But every one of those records, man, because I've listened to them a lot. There's a story like they just have I mean, it's no different from Pablo Honey and the Benz and OK Computer,
Yeah.
and then Kaya has got a very very survival. I mean, I beg you, if you're gonna like sprinkle Bob Marley into your kit, like do it album by album, because it's amazing. Like you'll be like 2 records in, and you're like, I got it.
I feel
and then
like the
next
album I've
record.
listened to the most with them was Babylon by Bus.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Is that live? I think that's live.
I think so. Yeah.
No,
It's got a bus on
no.
in front of it.
You want the feel of when they were like, we're going
Let's
into
lock it in.
We're going into the studio.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get
But
along.
I also I kind of love live stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to only listen to it that way. I do love studio versions of stuff, but I also do love live stuff. I feel like if you're a band and there's no such thing as live versions of your music, you probably are kind of like a mediocre to shitty band.
Okay. Give me 2 other big records for you, whether you're fucking 14 or 31, besides In Rainbows. That big studio out that you just whoa, and you.
I would say Stop Making Sense.
You've seen it, right?
I mean, I feel like if you don't like that, like I'm probably not your friend. Like it's just if you don't like it at all,
You have seen it.
we're not your friend. We're not friends.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Great
I mean
record.
that's great.
Okay.
And then I mean, I don't know. I feel like another album, if I could only have like 3.
You could have a lot more, but we're under.
If I only needed 3, I would pick some. I'm not sure what, but probably a Bob Dylan record. But I don't know. I haven't like thought about like only listening to one Bob
Sure.
Dylan record. I just think of him as somebody I listen to all of his shit.
I mean, Desire, Blood on the Tracks, and Blonde on Blonde are probably the top.
Blonde on Blonde's good. I don't know if I could really. I can't necessarily pick one.
Okay.
But then like probably next would be some. And I also can't say what one, but a Led Zeppelin album.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
You know.
So nothing in a studio album sense. Nothing from the Country Days roots really stands out strong.
No.
It's just all kind of a swath of.
It's just like I could listen to a 90s country radio station all day, no problem.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
I hope you understand that, like, from this day forward, if I ever in any capacity hear like a dun, 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 like, I'm fucking sending that shit to you.
Yeah, man. I guarantee you, everyone, me, my sister, my mom, and my dad, we probably have memorized every song that was on 1997 Ultimate Dance
It's
Music.
all instrumental, right? There's very few lyrics.
Yeah, there's probably no music, like song.
Well, going back to the notion of an album, you said you think it's pushing back in that. I hope that it lives forever.
Yeah.
I don't know why, really, but I was at Elihu's best buddy. You've seen Henry around, right?
Yeah.
We all three of us went over to his folks' place last Friday night, and we were all just hanging out, and Dave came up.
Yeah.
And because somebody asked me about this, and I was like, blah blah blah, and Crash, if this comes up, and then Dave comes, like, Crash almost always enters the picture. My sister chose it as one of hers, and I think it's a phenomenal record. Like, I revisited it for her episode. The tracks, there's 12 tracks. The last 3 I'm kind of like, but 1 through 9. Home run after home run, and the album art's beautiful. I absolutely love that record. So we're talking about Dave, and I'm like, you guys know before these crowded streets, or I mean, the one from 18. God, I can't remember the name, but it's the most recent one.
Oh yeah,
that you were in your Dave Serious pocket, and I was like, I was flipping you shit, and you're like, do you know he has a new record out? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then I went and listened to it, and I was like, oh my fucking God. And I love that album so much.
Yeah. First
First of all, because it's a really, really great record. Second of all, I love how it came into my life. And it's so they put it up. We were outside. He was grilling burgers and shit, and they had a little speaker.
Yeah.
And they put it on. I bet you, and there was a neighbor over, I bet you between the 3 of them that there was like 9 or 10 comment in the middle of conversation, just, holy shit, this is really fun. I'm like,
good.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so, I love that. I mean, I feel the same way about that LCD Sound System record that we've.
They tour. They're on tour right now.
Are they really?
Again, they got back together. They're a band.
I mean,
yeah. I just saw the other day that they're a band again. I was just like, fuck. Yeah.
I've really loved listening to that record on my own.
Yeah.
I've loved listening to that record at your place, having drinks on a nice evening outside.
Yeah.
And I've once or twice I've heard it coming from your place, and like, again, it's like, fuck yeah, Kyle Davis. We got to get you out of here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like it's just, I want to talk about music with you all the time. Because no one else in my life is talking about music.
Dude, we did hammer out 3 hours, and we covered some ground, so let's give it a year.
Yeah.
And then we'll delicately approach the general, love you, with another, and this time we'll be like,
just let me be.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you.
Nice.